When everybody looked at the schedule for the Toronto Blue Jays for this season, they said there's a spot here at the beginning of this year for the Blue Jays to really make hay and take advantage of these first three series they have to play. First is the Athletics, a team that lost 86 games last season. And the Blue Jays, to their credit, won all three games against the Athletics. Next up, they had the Colorado Rockies, who last season lost 119 games. And the Blue Jays proceeded to drop 2 of 3 games against the Colorado Rockies. And then next, the series that just concluded was against the Chicago White Sox, who last season lost 102 games. Those were the first 3 series the Blue Jays had to play, and as you probably already know, they went about it and came out with a 4-5 schedule. As mentioned, that sweep against the Athletics, where they did take advantage of a lesser competition team and won all 3 games, and then against the Rockies, a team they should beat, only 1 win, and then the disaster of the sweep at the hands of the White Sox this past weekend. And I understand that it is literally, by every definition and by just looking at the calendar, early. That's why I'm not going to sit here and complain and say everything's over and the season is done, because that would be truly disingenuous to get on my high horse about how the Blue Jays have wasted this season and everything's out the door and fire Schneider and all that. I can't do that, but I can say that every single win matters. No matter if that win comes on April 5th or if that win comes on September 5th. Every single game you play in Major League Baseball matters, because at the end of the season, you can win or lose a division on a tiebreaker. And that is exactly what happened to the Blue Jays with the American League East last season. The Blue Jays and the Yankees had identical records to end the season. If a game in April is flipped, either way, the Blue Jays could have won or lost the American League East. It is early, I will not deny that, and the Blue Jays have a tendency to not start their seasons off well and then rally come June or later, or whenever they want to get their season started. That's when they start playing well. The division-winning Toronto Blue Jays were under 500 as late as May 28th last year. On May 28th, they won a game against the Texas Rangers, which pushed their winning record to 27-28, and then the following day, they beat the Athletics, and they moved to 28-28. And from there, they did not drop under 500 the rest of the way. Also, on that May 28th date, that is the most games back they were of the AL East crown. They were 8 games back that day late in May. And funnily enough, Brendan Little started that game against the Texas Rangers that the Blue Jays did end up winning 2-0. It is early, but that is not a recipe for success. You can't count on stinking through April and May, and then from the end of May to the end of the season being one of the best teams in baseball and winning the whole darn thing. That can't be your plan each and every year. The difference between this year and last year is that now there are expectations. We know what happened last year. I've said it like 40 times in this video already. The expectations coming into this season, now that you accomplished all of that, are that when you have the White Sox and the Rockies and the Athletics in back-to-back series to start the season, you will come out better than 4-5. So it is a disappointing start to the year, but it's early and there's time for them to turn it around. And finally, it feels like they are recognizing that the "it's early" excuse is not good enough, and John Schneider said it enough in his post-game comments where he talked about how this team has to get back to playing the baseball they know. And it's not that this team is a bad team. It's just that they are playing bad baseball. So let's get into all of the things that have gone wrong in this short Blue Jays stint so far this season. We can start with the injuries, because that's been the most deflating thing. Injuries are something that's so out of your control, unless it's like you pitched a pitcher too much and you actually blew out his arm on purpose. Like these things seem so out of the Blue Jays' control. It's just like, this sucks. First, Cody Ponce running over to first base. He had that weird play where he was on the mound and he slipped off. And then the next play, he goes to field the ball, running over to first, flipping one to Vladdy. His knee blows out. He's on the 60-day IL list. Trey A. Savage still not stretched out fully, still on the 15-day. Shane Bieber still on the 15-day IL. Jose Barrios still on the 15-day. They've all been there to start the season. They are still there. We will get updates hopefully very soon on if one of them can come help out this rotation. Since we're on the rotation, let's go out to the other bad luck stuff that happened with the Blue Jays. Eric Lauer. Eric Lauer had the flu and was supposed to start on Saturday. They pushed that start to Sunday, and it looked like he definitely still had the flu based on everything he did on Sunday against the White Sox. But the Blue Jays still couldn't muster up any runs and help their team, even though their bullpen definitely did enough to win that game. They couldn't do anything. If we scroll down here, we'll see our other bad luck thing that is completely out of the Blue Jays' control. Alejandro Kirk takes a pitch off of the thumb, and I believe we're supposed to have some sort of update when Schneider meets the media on Monday on Alejandro Kirk's status. He's on the 10-day IL right now. Anthony Santander was also pushed to the 60-day IL, but that was more of a formality because I don't think we can expect Santander to have a really big impact on this team this year, at least until like September is when we're talking about him affecting this team. So those are the things that are kind of out of the Blue Jays' control. You can't help Ponce running over and blowing out his knee or Alejandro Kirk hitting a ball off of his thumb, but the things you can't help are pitching Brendan Little so many times that your hand is finally forced to send him down. Brendan Little has the stuff of a really great major leaguer. He is a hard-throwing lefty, and he has the stuff that is rare in a lefty. That is why the Blue Jays see all of the analytics behind him, and they say, let's keep giving this thing a shot. But Brendan Little hasn't been that pitcher for the Jays during the regular season or the postseason since early last year, since like around that range where I brought up that game where they won against Texas where Brendan Little started. He hasn't been that pitcher for the entirety of last summer, into the fall, into the postseason. But I'm asking the Blue Jays to please don't ever be fooled by spring training magic ever again. You can make the argument that this season so far, Little's cost the Blue Jays 2.5 wins. Sportsnet Stats had this graphic, and it's been up on the screen for a little bit, so I'm sure if you're watching right now on the Jesse Blake Sports Report YouTube channel, you've already seen it. But the Blue Jays bullpen this season, excluding Brendan Little, has a 1.93 ERA, a 1.13 whip, has only allowed 2 home runs, and has an opponent batting average of 222. Brendan Little himself has a 24.55 ERA, a 3.55 whip, has allowed 3 home runs, and his opponent batting average is 500. These stats do not include Tyler Heineman pitching in that really big blowout against the Rockies. He has been the weak link in the bullpen this season, and it took costing the Blue Jays, I'm going to say 2.5 games in this season so far. It took costing them that for them to send him down, and that to me was, no pun intended, a little too late. Thank you for finally doing the right thing, but I hope your decision making next time you're faced with something like this is a little quicker, because it is costing us wins. And as I went through in the beginning of this thing, every single win matters. So even though you think that the stuff is there, use the evidence of the regular season and the postseason and the early part of this season to understand that there's something mentally there with Little where he can't get over this hump of throwing the correct pitches that he needs to throw, and that this isn't a stuff issue. This is a Brendan Little has lost his confidence issue, and every single pitch he decides to throw is middle. And I don't want to pile on the guy because he's already been sent down. We got our wish. Yay, let's go. He's been sent down. Now he can go regain his confidence. But I wanted to bring up this tweet from Keegan Matheson during the April April 4th game against the White Sox that Saturday. He shows the 2 pitches that Brendan Little gave up home runs on, how down the middle of the plate they are. This is a man who is not sure of himself and should not be on a major league mound. Brendan Little, thank goodness the Blue Jays are doing you the right thing and sending you down where you can go regain your confidence. But Jesse, what about the other losses that the Blue Jays have had? Well, we can blame those on poor decision-making and the hitting. Let's start with the hitting because that one's just easy to run through. The Blue Jays aren't hitting well right now. They're hitting very poorly with runners in scoring position. And if we look at some of the numbers of the individual performances, Addison Barger has been a disaster so far in 19 at-bats. Addison Barger has 1 single hit, and he did injure both of his ankles running to first base, trying to beat out a ball. So we'll see an update on that. He tried to continue in the game and did continue for a little bit after he got his ankles wrapped, but he eventually had to leave the game because his ankles hurt. But that ankle stuff has nothing to do with his terrible hitting that happened before that. Nathan Lucas also hitting very poorly. Only 2 hits on the year, a 176 on-base percentage. Alejandro Kirk, before he got injured, not hitting well. Dalton Varsho not hitting well as well. He has 5 hits in the year on 29 at-bats. That is a 172 batting average, a 250 on-base percentage. And if we go down the list of poor performances, we have to include George Springer, who has 13 strikeouts on the year, which is crazy high for Springer. I did not expect that many swings and misses from George Springer. And then the strikeout problem that the Blue Jays definitely do have at this moment right now is Kazuma Okamoto, who has 17 strikeouts on the year so far. And if we sort by all players in this league to look at how high 17 strikeouts gets you on the strikeout list, that is 5th in the entirety of Major League Baseball. Hitting has clearly not come easy to Okamoto, transitioning from Japan to Major League Baseball. And it's really strictly about the strikeouts with Okamoto. There's just so much swing and miss. That 17 is way too high, and it's a small sample size. That thing will even out, but that's a course correction that the Blue Jays need to fix right now because he is showing some power. He's got the 2 home runs already this season, but that strikeout mess, like, I don't know whether it's the velocity of Major League pitching that was something talked about in spring training, or if it's even the off-speed pitches that are happening in Major League Baseball that are really throwing him off. But the pitching, there's definitely a learning curve there, so we hopefully will get it going soon. But the bats have been an issue for the Toronto Blue Jays, and no matter how many times Brendan Little goes out there, you can't win a baseball game if you don't score any runs. And they are not giving this pitching staff the run support they need. Kevin Gausman has been fantastic in his 2 starts so far this season. He has looked like an ace in every sense of the word, but he is not getting the run support needed from this team. And then the most curious thing that's wrong with the Toronto Blue Jays is the simple baseball mistakes that they did not seem to make, definitely on the second half of last season. They seem to clean up all of these things. Tyler Heineman in the Saturday loss to the White Sox really has to wear it, and he did. He was very sad. I did not want to look at him when he was in the dugout or talking post-game. He wore it hard, but we will mention this because we have to. He airmailed the ball in a rundown when the Blue Jays were trailing 4-3. It was an egregious mistake. It should have ended the inning there, and it cost the Blue Jays a couple runs. That's just on Heineman. And then there was also a base running mistake where he got thrown out at third, trying to go from second to third on a throw that was maybe going home, but then the cutoff man got it and picked him off at third base. And up next in the order, coming to the plate, was Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who would have had a chance with runners in scoring position to drive home a couple runs. And he did not get that chance because Tyler Heineman was thrown out in this very same game that he made this throwing error. He was thrown out on the base pass on a running error. The Blue Jays are not usually a team that plays like that. The Yankees last season were the team who played like this. And when the Blue Jays would do stuff like this, I'd be like, the Blue Jays playing like Yankees. How funny. Ha 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 ha. Because this stuff would be so rare from the Toronto Blue Jays. So I'm willing to chalk this one up to bad game, bad start. This isn't the Blue Jays that we know. They're usually so good at these little things. They're expert base runners. They're experts at rundown. They don't make the little errors. And this season to start, they've been making the little error. So with all that has gone wrong this start of the season, it is good to note that the Blue Jays have not dropped back far of their American League East foes. Only the Yankees in the American League East have gotten off to a hot start. They are 7-2, but the Rays are 4-5. The Blue Jays are 4-5. The Orioles are 3-6, and the Boston Red Sox, off to a disaster start, are 2-7. So with everything that has gone wrong with the Blue Jays, the injuries are bad luck, the little mistakes that you can't be making, that's entirely fixable. Get your head in the game. You can fix that stuff. And then the hitting, I think we all think is going to turn itself around eventually. The pitching has been there, and now that Brendan Little isn't there, hopefully more of the pitching will be there with other relievers now taking that spot. The season isn't over. It's not time to panic. They should have won more games against those trio of teams, but now you got to go out and beat good teams too. You can't just bank on beating bad teams. The Blue Jays face the Dodgers this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. The defending champs who broke your hearts in Game 7 of the World Series are back in town starting tomorrow. I'm going to be streaming games 1 and 2 on the SDPN YouTube channel, so tune in then. We'll have a fun watch along. And the Blue Jays better win this series. They need to get 2 out of 3 games here with how poor they started against the lesser teams. Go out and prove you can beat the good teams. That is what I want to see this week out of the Blue Jays. It is still
Is it sane? Is it possible? Still I ask myself, are we, am I? In our game, it's not logical, but you contemplate, are we, am I?
the last time the Los Angeles Dodgers were on the field at Rogers Center, they were celebrating a championship. They're back now. That was November 1st, 2025. I'm sure you remember where you were when Miguel Rojas homered off of Jeff Hoffman in the bottom of the ninth inning. I'm sure you remember where you were when Will Smith crushed that homer in the top of the 11th inning, and then in the bottom of the 11th inning, the Jays grounded into a double play to end the game. It's going to live with me forever. Talking about it now and like all day, that's kind of like been in my mind. I'm still not over it. Like, I'm never going to get over them being so close to a World Series and IKF not getting home in time. I'm never going to get over it. But there is time, I guess, this season and in the rest of my lifetime for the Jays to make up for it. And it starts with tonight. It starts with tonight, obviously, with the Jays going up against the Dodgers. Max Scherzer on the mound against Justin Robleski. Mookie Betts is injured. He is not playing this series. Shohei was set to start, I believe, today, but his start's been pushed back to Wednesday's game. So, no Shohei on the mound today. We'll get him hitting first, though. Let's bring up this batting order here for the Los Angeles Dodgers. It's going Ohtani, Tucker, Freddie Freeman, and then Teoscar, Max Muncy, Pages, Freeland. Just murderer's row every time with the Dodgers, every single time out. How is everybody doing tonight? Everybody fun? Everybody having a good night? Everybody having fun? Everybody good to be back streaming? I'm happy to be back here with all of you. Sorry, I'm just getting used to all the new audio levels. So I keep walking up to the board and adjusting everything. I'm trying to make it all sound all right in my headphones. Let me hit a button. Let me hit a button for you. Let me know if this works. How's that sounding? The air horn sounding nice? Yeah, these names are giving me PTSD as well. Koki in the chat. Seeing Ohtani. The fact that their first Series 2 is back at the Rogers Center. It's not like the Blue Jays are starting their series against the Dodgers for the first time this year, like in LA. It'd make it a little better. Just the fact that everybody's back here again. We're just going to regroup from where we left off in November, and we're back again. It's not a great feeling. And I need them to win tonight. This is such a weirdly important game just for the emotional well-being of being a fan right now. I want them badly to have some sort of redemption arc this season. I want them to win the World Series, obviously, but I want them to get this game in particular, just so the Dodgers aren't our daddies all the time, because they beat us in Game 6. We took the series in LA, and we were up 3-2, heading home back to Toronto. And we lose that Game 6, 3-1. Bats are asleep. They don't do anything. Wasted opportunity. And then that Game 7 is so crushing and one of the all-time crushing losses that this moment here, this one game on April 6th, means a lot to me. And it should mean a lot to you as a Blue Jays fan. It's not going to make up for losing the World Series, but it's at least going to make us feel good today. Today, we have a chance at feeling a little bit of happiness against the Dodgers, which is something, which is definitely something. Thank you for renewing your SDP VIP membership, Ralphie boy. It says on your renewal, 1 year, baby, and then a bunch of the Navy emojis. New Jersey did something. They fired Tom Fitzgerald. Every hockey fan in the chat, they finally did a thing that they probably should have done a little bit ago, which is fire Tom Fitzgerald. I think they all mutually parted ways. Is kind of what the announcement was from the Blitzer family on Tom Fitzgerald departing the New Jersey Devils, but that's long overdue. They had a mess of a trade deadline. They had zero secondary scoring. Like, their forward group is kind of a mess, low-key a mess right now. The Markstrom signing is ugly. Like, they extended Markstrom for literally no reason. Tom Fitzgerald has been not good at his job for a little bit now, and I'm not surprised he's out of his job. The NHL as a whole has been so much fun. But before we talk about that in between our pitches, we have first pitch here. Max Scherzer pitching to Shohei Ohtani. He throws it right over the plate, but Shohei fouls it off for pitch number 1, strike number 1. The game is underway. Shohei looks. Max deals. That one is also fouled off. It's an 0-2 count to start off the game. We are underway here in Toronto. Round of applause for first pitch. Thank you for being here. Choosing to watch some Blue Jays action with me tonight. Shohei takes this one out to center field. That is a nice little sliding grab there by Dalton Varsho. Always a steady force in center field. Makes that nice grab. Good pitch by Scherzer on the outside corner. Gets Shohei to chase a little, try and pull a ball away from him. Not able to make too great of contact. Looked like it might have been able to find a hole there in right center, but Varsho, speedy, runs over, makes a terrific play. Sliding grab. One down in the top of the first inning. Cal Tucker is now at the plate. He takes the first pitch of his at-bat for a ball away. It is April again, Koki. It is April baseball. 2-0 is the count. That is a ball away. The Dodgers off to a very good start this season. 7-2 is their record. Cal Tucker 5 for 10 career against Scherzer. I believe that stat that just ran across the screen there. Tucker hitting .273 to start the year. That is a third ball in a row by Scherzer. Very unlike him to fall behind a hitter this early. That one does get the outside corner there with the fastball. That's one strike. 3-1 is the count. Scherzer, which I assume is going to be his final year in the majors. He's due for retirement. Oh, that ball's high. I think it might have caught some of the strike zone, but the Blue Jays choose not to use the ABS system, and they're going to accept the walk there to Cal Tucker as Freddie Freeman now comes to the plate. Half Canadian Freddie Freeman. We love our boy Freddie Freeman when he's playing for Canada, not when he's playing for the Dodgers. 0-1, that's a strike on the inside corner. Max Scherzer starts off the count there. Scherzer deals this 0-1. That's a strike right over the plate. 0-2 is the count. On the New Jersey Devils, I think I said all I can say. Even though they've been playing really well as of late, Jack Hughes has been hot. They've had a good post-Olympic break. I don't think anybody's being fooled by that. Max Scherzer throws one over 91. Gets Freddie Freeman swinging. That's strike number 3. His first strikeout of the night. Freddie Freeman swings right through that pitch. 2 down in the top of the first inning. Canadian girl says, it's like how we only like the rat when he plays for Canada. It's so true. Brad Marchand is the best Canadian ever when he's playing for Canada. We love Brad Marchand when he's on Team Canada. When he's on any other team, a.k.a. Boston and Florida, some of the two most hated teams ever if you are a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, Teoscar Hernandez is going to take this pitch, and that ball's going to go. That's a no-doubter. Teoscar homers to left field. My goodness. That is a slider that is over the plate on a 1-0 count. An 83-mile-an-hour slider is middle. That one was missed by Scherzer. He did not hit his spot. Teoscar Hernandez, the ex-Blue Jay, does not miss with that bat to ball. Sends it way out to left field. Immediately in the top of the first inning, the Dodgers have a 2-0 lead. Woo! That is rough stuff there. Wow. I didn't expect that. You know, you expect in a Scherzer outing, he's going to really settle in early. He's going to have a couple innings of, like, solid ball. And here, a rough start for Scherzer. First, that walk on 5 pitches, and then a homer on a missed slider. 2-0 Dodgers, top of the first inning. Wow. Max Muncy's at the plate, by the way. Count is 2-2 as Scherzer throws that one low and in the dirt. Heineman with the block, even though there's no one on base. He does a great job blocking that ball. 2-2 is the count now. 2 out. 2-0 Dodgers. Muncy fouls that one off. Muncy hitting .250 to start the year. Scherzer up to 18 pitches in this first inning. Dan Shulman mentioning on the broadcast, I think very accurately, pointing out that Scherzer's velocity is down early on in this game from where he was in his first start of the season, which is very surprising. You don't expect velocity to drop this early in the season. Like, that's shocking. 3-2 now is the count. Scherzer delivers a 3-2 pitch. Strike 3. That's his second strikeout of the inning, second strikeout of the game, the third out of the inning, but it does not come until Teoscar Hernandez homered into left field for a 2-0 lead for the Los Angeles Dodgers. We go to the bottom of the first inning with the Blue Jays trailing. Not a great start. Hayden, producer Hayden, is on the chat hanging out with us tonight. Everybody, be nice to your mod, Hayden, tonight. Appreciate you hanging out with us, Hayden. The bats have been a real struggle for the Jays so far this early season. They have not been able to hit with runners in scoring position. I had some other stats here of how lowly the bats have been. Runners in scoring position, .213 batting average. Even though their starter ERA has been a 2.58, which is pretty good. You know, keeping the ERA pretty low. But the bats not providing any support for the good pitching that the Blue Jays have been getting. And I think prime example of that is how good Kevin Gausman was in his first 2 starts. And one of those games they did win in that Athletics game, but he did not come out of that game with a W to his stat sheet. And then his second game, just no run support at all in his second start, I should say. Just all around, the bats need to get going. As much as you want to blame the bullpen and Brendan Little, you can't win a game if you don't score any runs. And that's been the main issue for the Jays early on. But a lot of the Jays' struggles has been bad luck, I'd say, as well, because there have been quite a few injuries to the Jays. Alejandro Kirk's injury is going to really hurt them. That one was a bad luck injury, even though he wasn't hitting too well when he was in the lineup. Okamoto is still getting adjusted to Major League pitching. He has 17 strikeouts this season, which is fifth most in all of Major League Baseball. That number is going to come down as he spends more time against North American hitting. George Springer, 13 strikeouts on the year. He's never been a very high strikeout guy, but that is a high strikeout number. You got to expect George Springer will turn this around. He's up to the plate right now, and the count is 1-1 against him as he fouls off that Justin Robleski pitch. Springer's only hitting 158 this season. That number's not going to sit there. That is a very meek swing on a pitch that fools him down and in. That was a tricky little slider for the second strike of this at-bat. It is now 1-2 on the count. Robleski deals. Springer fouls that one off, and the count remains 1-2. We have a question in the chat from Metal Mallet that says, do you wish this was a weekend series instead of a weekday one? That is a ball low. I do 100%. 100% I wish this was a weekend series. A Saturday at the ballpark? Jays Dodgers? That'd be unbelievable. World Series rematch. First game's on a Friday. And then that'd be Game 6. Remember, Game 6 was on October 31st on the Friday. Game 7 happened on the Saturday. It would feel like such deja vu to have the Dodgers back in town for a weekend series. I wish it was a weekend series, 100%. Good call on that one. That didn't even cross my mind until you asked that. George Springer takes that ball for a walk. That is a runner on base to start the bottom of the first inning for the Toronto Blue Jays. Davis Schneider's up second, hitting second today for the Blue Jays. Fouls off the first pitch, is 0-1. Davis Schneider hitting pretty well this season to start the year. Already a home run, already 3 RBIs. Fouls off this one, 0-2's the count. Falls behind early. Tyson saying the Jays need Bill Guavin. the Jays need Lane Hudson. They need the baseball equivalent of Lane Hudson, who is the best hockey player in the universe. So the Jays need the baseball player in the universe to play for them, because that is what Lane Hudson is to hockey. And his dad calls Bill Bill. I can't even say his real name anymore. I can't say Bill Guerin anymore. It doesn't come out of my mouth naturally because I've been saying Bill Guavin for so long. That's just how I say it. I say Bill Guavin. That's what it is. Robleski deals a 1-2 here. That is a ball high. Schneider's able to work the count back up to 2-2. A very patient Schneider here early. This is great to see. David Schneider, you hope, can be an everyday player eventually and not just bat against lefties. Maybe one day he will also bat against righties. Here's a good hit out to left field, but right to the left fielder, Teoscar Hernandez. And that is a fly ball out for the first out of the inning for the Blue Jays there. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. comes up next, with George Springer remaining on first base. 1 out now in the inning. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. this season, Good to see him get that homer monkey off of his back, getting that one homer in that White Sox series. In that game where he homered, he really seemed like he was seeing the ball better as the game went on. He had a hit early that was like a little dribbler, and he was upset at the contact he made, if I'm remembering correctly. And then the next at bat, he has a really long drive. It looks great, and it goes right up against the wall. Just like this hit right here that's going out to right field. And that ball's caught up against the wall by Kyle Tucker, and it just stays in the ballpark. A little bit of a leap there by Kyle Tucker in right field to catch it at the wall. And Vladdy misses a 2-run home run by 2 feet. 2 feet and a couple feet upwards. And that ball's over the right field fence and is an Oppo home run. But Vladdy just misses it. Great swing by Vladdy there. He's been making good contact as of late. That's what you want to see. I wish we just had a couple more feet on that one. Dang. Okamoto now up to bat. Fires one into left field. Right in between the shortstop and third baseman. Along the ground. That's a single for Okamoto. Brings Springer up to second base. And the Blue Jays are cooking here with 2 out. It's now up to Ernie Earndog Clement to bring home George Springer, who is now in scoring position. Let's see what Ernie Clement can do here. 2 RBIs so far on this season. No home runs. Be a good time for the first one of the season. That's a ball low. Is it too early for tense music? Hayden, I don't know if you know the history of this music, but people hate when I play it because they think I'm jinxing the Blue Jays, and they think I have the ability to jinx the Blue Jays with this music here. Even though, like, I definitely don't, because I can't do it. I don't have that much power over the universe. But they think when things get tense, like the Blue Jays setting up a rally here, and Ernie Clement flaring one out to center field, and George Springer coming up around the bases to score the first run of the game for the Blue Jays. They think when I play that music, that won't happen there, but it does, and the Blue Jays get on the board. A little Olay to start it off. A little Olay, a little confetti. That is a 1-run single. That is a run for the Blue Jays. We are going to move this runner home. Blue Jays now trail by 1. We have Okamoto moving up to second. We have Springer, who came home. We still have 2 out. We have Earndog on first. We have Dalton Varsho at the plate, and he takes that second pitch of the at-bat for a ball, and it is 1-1 in the count. Let's see if Varsho can continue this rally. He struggled so far this season, only hitting 172. He needs to get it going, and what a spot to get it going here as the Blue Jays need some runs. They have not been getting runs. Now would be a good time for some runs. Natalie Drake in the chat says, for my first Blue Jays jersey, congratulations on your first Blue Jays jersey when you purchase it, Barger or Earndog? I'd go Barger, personally. Addison Barger is one of my fave Jays going right now, but Ernie Clement as well. You can't go wrong with either, to be honest. Oh, Varsho takes that. That's ball 4. That's ball 4 for Varsho, and he is on first base We have the bases loaded for Miles Straw. People would die for Ernie Clement. Maybe Ernie Clement is the correct answer. Maybe I answered too quickly with Addison Barger. Addison Barger is the more unique jersey, as Hayden points out. You would be, like, more people definitely have Ernie Clement jerseys. And I think Barger could be a J for much longer just because of his age, you know, and how he can grow into his role long-term with the Jays. Miles Straw, unbelievable start to the year so far, hitting .556, 5 hits in 9 at-bats. Takes the first pitch high in the zone. That is a strike. 0-1 is the count. Shall I bring in the tense music? Because it is tense here in the first inning. Bases loaded. 2 out. That is a ball. And Miles Straw checks his swing. 1-1 is the count. Emo Jalapeno said, Ern's so cute, it makes me physically sick. That's so funny. Does he give you cuteness aggression like a puppy? That is a strike right down the middle by Robleski, pitching to Straw. 1-2 is the count. Miles, we need you to open up this game and bring the Jays back in front of the Dodgers. With a base hit here, that would be lovely as he takes the 4th pitch of the at-bat away for a ball. It is 2-2. I did not think the tense music would make 2 appearances before the bottom of the first inning ends, but here we are. Miles Straw grounds it up the middle. And that is a force out at second base. Miles Straw grounds to short. Kim steps on second. And that is the end of the first inning. It is 2-1 Dodgers. Bases are left loaded. Jays only able to get 1 run back there. Coming up for the Dodgers next in the top of the second, Andy Pages. Andy Pages. Colin Bradbury says, play the tense music. We tried. It worked the first time, didn't work the second time. We have a super chat from Insider J Money. We stan Insider J Money around these parts. Thank you for hanging out here, Insider J Money. This confetti on the screen is for your super chat that I will read right now. It says, unbiased take, but I've heard from a lot of people that the LA Dodgers are the Philadelphia Flyers of Major League Baseball. If that were the case, that means that the Dodgers would be outperforming their analytics and surprising a lot of people with their late season push for the playoffs, which I don't think you could talk about the Dodgers in that way at all. Insider J Money, if you in the chat, if you watching or listening right now are not aware, is a huge Flyers fan, and he has been poking us. He has been poking the bear of the Steve Dangle podcast because I, in particular, am not a believer in the Flyers. It's not that I'm happy for Flyers fans. I think it's really cool because Philadelphia is such a great sports city. It's such a great hockey city, and Flyers fans are so awesome. I think it'd be really cool if the Flyers made the playoffs. But that's not my job to just champion things for fan bases. If I'm providing objective analysis of a hockey team, the Flyers to me feel like an easy out in the first round. And I don't even know how they're doing it besides like really good goaltending from Dan Vladar and great team defense. Like, I guess I do kind of know how they're doing it. I gave 2 reasons on how they're doing it. But they're still not scoring goals. So I don't know if they're going to hold on to that spot. There's only 4 games left in this season, 5 games for some teams. They might still fall out. They might do it. And I'd be really happy for Flyers fans if they did do it, if I'm being honest. I'd be really happy for them. I'd be happy for Flyer fans like Insider J Money. Pages here fouls this one off as the count works to 2-2. Philly fans are on another level, says Jacqueline K. Yeah, they might be the most intense fan base in hockey. It's probably the Canadians are up there on intensity. The Devils fans are really intense. Flyers fans are up there amongst the intense. Oilers, like the top 10 is probably no order. Oilers, Leafs, Canadians, Flyers, Devils. That's the top 5. I said top 10. No, that's a good top 5, I think. I'm trying to think of the other ones. In terms of intensity. Vancouver would make the top 6. And I think that'd be good for, like, the craziness of the fan bases. The craziest of the fan bases. I think that'd be a good 6. That's another foul ball here. 7th pitch of the at-bat is fouled off by Pages. We have Super Chat memberships gifted by Canadian Girl 8368. Canadian Girl hanging out in the chat. Thank you. I'm going to give you a little bit of air horns. I'm going to give you a round of applause. I'm going to break out confetti. Thank you for gifting those Super Chats. Super Chats. Thank you for gifting those SDP VIP memberships. If you received an SDP VIP membership from Canadian Girl, say thank you. Always thank the giftee for gifting those memberships. Pages fouls off another one. That's the 9th pitch of the at-bat. That is the 5th consecutive foul ball. No, 6th consecutive foul ball of this at-bat. 2-2 the count remains. None out here in the top of the 2nd. Pages foul. Nope. This is going to be in play. Vladdy's going back. He backs off. Ernie Clement going over and catches it. That's the first out of the inning, but a good long at bat by Andy there to make it difficult for Scherzer and work up his pitch count. 30 pitches in the game so far for Max Scherzer. That is a lot of pitches through 1 1/3 innings. A Flyers versus Penguins matchup would be fantastic for the first round of the playoffs, which is totally possible. Freeland here flies out to right field. That is the 2nd out of the inning on the first pitch of the at-bat. Dalton Rushing, who's catching for the Dodgers tonight, is up to the plate. Dalton Rushing, good young player for the Dodgers. They always seem to have good young players. They are the Dodgers. 1-0 is the count. Scherzer throws a ball there to start the at-bat. That's another ball high. Koki says, about time something nice happened to the Dodgers. I agree. They have this new kid, Dalton Rushing, who's hitting .400 and just boosted his batting average by getting a single against Max Scherzer. Right there. Rushing's on first. So, Pete Walker's on the phone. Sorry, I'm just trying to get you the full story here. I believe they are worried about Max Scherzer being injured here because Pete Walker was on the phone to the bullpen, and Max Scherzer looks to the dugout and has to tell them, I'm okay and I can keep going. So maybe it's not an injury, it's just they're worried about his velocity or if he has it today or if he's dealing with something, but everything appears fine now. As Kim flies out to center field, that is the third out of the inning. Yeah, oh God, not another injury, says Canadian Girl 83. That is not what the Jays need right now. Everybody on this team is injured, it seems like, and they cannot have another injury. So let's hope everything is fine with Scherzer. Everything appears to be fine as he closes out that inning with that fly ball to center field, and Dalton Varsho caught that easily. Maybe it's the flu. So Eric Lauer yesterday pitches against the White Sox, and he clearly has the flu. He was dealing with it going into that series against the White Sox. He had his start pushed back. So he was supposed to start on Saturday. It moves to Sunday because he's so sick. And you got to imagine in that locker room, in that dressing room for the Jays, he's not the only one who's sick. So I do wonder if Scherzer's also dealing with the flu and how many of the other guys right now are dealing with some sort of symptoms. And maybe that will explain why the Jays are struggling here to hit early on. Just a theory. They're showing the they're showing the broadcast, the press box, I should say. They're showing the press box at the Rogers Center, and I spotted Steve Simmons. Steve Simmons is there, everybody, if anybody wanted to know. Okay, so a little bit of background info here from Murdoff. They showed Scherzer coughing up a bunch of phlegm. I didn't see that. That is nasty, and I'm not surprised. His velocity is down from his first start. Dan Shulman mentioned that on the broadcast. That's very unusual. That only happens if something is wrong. So I think it's fair to assume that, yeah, he's a little ill. And maybe that's why the command isn't there early on. But he's fighting through it. Tyler Heineman here, 0-1's the count. He's going to take this next pitch and ground it to shortstop. Kim fields that, throws it over to first, and that is one out in this inning. I think the Jays are sick. I think there's a lot of coughing and sneezing and who knows what else in that Jays locker room. That's a strike by Robleski to Jimenez. Andres Jimenez, off to a good start this season. 848 OPS. 2 homers already for Jimenez. 273 batting average. His hard hit rate is up 10%. 37% this year in comparison to last year where it was 27%. They flashed that on the screen there. That is a foul ball. 2-2 is the count here. Natalie Drake with more questions for the chat after her question earlier about the jersey. Natalie asked, chat, help me with this big decision. Do I get up to do my workout or stay sitting with my cat in my lap? Chat, help out Natalie Drake. Andres Jimenez fouls off another ball here. That was a fastball 96 in the zone that he makes some contact on. Okay, so they're showing now Scherzer talking with John Schneider. Pete Walker gives him a handshake. Oh my gosh. Scherzer might be done. Josh Fleming is warming up and looking like he's going to come into this game. Andres Jimenez flies out to center field as Andy Pages strolls over and makes the grab. That's 2 down in the inning for the Toronto Blue Jays. Max Scherzer is done for the night. He went 2 innings, didn't have it, clearly sick. Disaster game for the Blue Jays so far. George Springer takes this one out to left field. But that is going to die in the field and be caught by Andy Pages for the 3rd out of the inning. We go to the top of the 3rd, and Max Scherzer's done. What is going on? Josh Fleming's coming into the game. We're going to find out more afterwards. But what an unfortunate start to the season in terms of luck for the Blue Jays. Everybody's injured. Everybody's sick. Nobody has it. Thank goodness they only trail 2-1. Insider J Money says Max Scherzer's coughed up Josh Fleming. Josh Fleming and Flu Hardy. Yes. Yes, everybody. The jokes write themselves. Well done. Well done, chat. Why don't we get a little round of applause for that? Josh Fleming. Mason Flu Hardy is even better. I feel bad for that Jays clubhouse right now. Like, what can you do when half the guys, it seems like, have the flu? Like, that sucks. That sucks real hard. In a huge series, you really want to win after you struggled against the White Sox because who knows how many guys have the flu. And then now Max Scherzer, who is the gamer of all gamers, if he could have pitched through this thing, he would have, but all he could muster up was 2 innings of work. And you know this did not come easy for him to pull himself from this game and recognize that he did not have it. Josh Fleming now, lefty on the mound to face Shohei Ohtani. Top of the 3rd inning, Dodgers lead 2-1. He throws that pitch in a slider, 90 miles per hour, over the heart of the plate. That is strike number 1 of this at-bat. 0-1 is the count. That ball is low. 1-1 is now the count. Trafalgar Davis says, Justin, Blue Jays call up a Etobicoke girls Bantam baseball team to cover for all the sick players. It's gonna be Buffalo playing here very shortly. With all of these injuries and all of the sickness that's going around, the Bisons are gonna be playing for the Blue Jays very soon. Like Josh Fleming is one of them. Real unfortunate start here. Alejandro Kirk's injury is just bad luck. Barger hurting both of his ankles yesterday, trying to beat out a ball to first base. Here's a little dribbler by Ohtani. Josh Fleming throws it past Vladdy into foul territory of right field. Ohtani's able to advance another base. Oh, no. Oh, no. Ohtani goes to second on that throwing error by Fleming. That was not even close. Vladdy had no shot at that ball. Fleming threw it way to the right side of the bag, and Vladdy was on the left side of the bag. Go figure. You got to throw the ball where the first baseman is. Crazy idea. But he doesn't do it. That's an error. Ohtani's on second. There's none out. Kyle Tucker's at the plate, and he hammers a ball to right field, and thank goodness that ball goes foul. Wow. Dodgers so far this season hitting .343 with runners in scoring position. We have a super chat. I got to read here as that's a ball inside by Fleming. Can we get David Ayers a bat and glove and field him? Thank you, Ridic. Appreciate your super chat. That air horns is for you, and this round of applause is for you. And Wes Richard has entered the building. It's a foul ball. Wes Richard has entered the building. That is somebody who deserves some confetti. Has gifted 5 SDP VIP memberships to the chat. If you received one of those, please thank Wes Richard. Thank you, Wes, for gifting those memberships. Fleming here deals a 1-2 pitch to Tucker. Inside, that's a ball. 2-2 is the count. Hayden with the message that gifted memberships equal SDP VIP. You get bonus weekly episodes, exclusive emotes, and more. Yeah, you get an extra episode of the Steve Dangle podcast every single week if you are an SDP VIP member. This ball is grounded down the right field line. Vladdy's able to scoop it and throw it over to Fleming, who makes the play at first. Good little toss there by Vladdy and good cover of the bag by Fleming. That is one down in the inning, but Ohtani does advance from second to third there on that out. And now we have Freddie Freeman coming to the plate with Ohtani on third and one out in the inning. We have the infielders in here just in case there's a ball hit at one of them and they can make a play to the plate in case Ohtani decides to break on a grounder there. That's why the infielders are in to protect home plate. That's 2 straight balls in this at bat here by Fleming to Freeman. That's 2-0 on the count. He is clearly pitching around Freddie. Does not want to give him a ball that he can drive to the outfield for a sac fly, or who knows, get a ball down there in the outfield. He's trying to pitch around him. And oh my goodness, Fleming throws a ball inside that Freeman turns on, but thankfully it is foul. He got a lot of that ball, but like I said, thankfully it is foul. We reset here at 2-1. Let's see what Fleming does here. The pitch fouled off again. He works the count back to 2-2. Good stuff. Good stuff. Ooh, Wes Richard renewing their SDP VIP membership and says, got my new JAYS jersey delivered today. Hey, shout out you for that. That 50th anniversary patch is pure fire. I need one of those on a jersey. That's another foul ball. 2-2 the count remains. Freddie Freeman now fighting off a couple pitches. A little defensive hitting there. Let's see if Fleming can maybe get a swing and a miss here and a strikeout to hold Ohtani. That would be great. That's what I'm rooting for. That ball's on the outside of the strike zone. 3-2 is now the count. We got a full count. Teoscar Hernandez is coming up next. Hayden with a great question. Is anybody on the back of your new Blue Jays jersey, Wes Richard? That 3-2 pitch is driven so far over the wall in right field, and Freddie Freeman says, goodbye, baseball. I will never see you again. That is crushed. He hit that thing to Aurelia. Look out for that ball, baby. 2 runs on the board for the Dodgers. That's 4 total on the evening. He got one earlier in this at-bat that looked just like that. He turned on it so quickly. And remember I said, thank goodness that ball was foul? This one was not foul. This one was so far gone. A no-doubter in every sense of the word. And it's 4-1 Dodgers as Fleming serves one up to him. And now Teoscar Hernandez is at the plate with the Dodgers up 4-1. 1-1 is the count. There we go. There's the womp. This isn't the start I wanted. Again, the rematch. Teoscar Hernandez is going to ground this ball to short. He's going to try and beat it, but he cannot. That's 2 outs in this inning here. Good little play there by Andres Jimenez to ground that ball and throw out Hernandez. It is tough sledding for the Toronto Blue Jays, people. Max Scherzer, if you missed it, somebody has asked in the chat. Caden asks in the chat, what happened to Max? He has the flu, is my best guess. He was coughing something up earlier. He wasn't coughing up Josh Fleming, but it was Fleming from his mouth. And his velocity was down early on. That was something immediately the broadcast noticed. And when that's happening, you know something is wrong. In the second inning, he looked over to the dugout as Pete Walker was on the phone to the bullpen, and he said, I'm all right. And then when he left at the end of the second inning, he had a chat with John Schneider. He had a chat with Pete Walker. Pete Walker shook his hand, and Max Scherzer, I assume, told them he does not have it today. His flu symptoms are too bad to pitch through, and he could not do it. Max Muncy here is going to take this Josh Fleming pitch that is in the zone, squirt it between the shortstop and the second baseman as Andres Jimenez was shading a little towards that second base bag, but he couldn't get all the way over to make that play, and that is a single for Max Muncy as this inning continues here. My goodness. Andy Pages is now up. The not great hitting Andy Pages, but who knows about this Dodgers team? They got hitters all up and down this lineup. Let's see what he does here with 1 runner on and 2 out and a 3-run lead for the Dodgers. Let's go. Josh Fleming here dealing to Pages. Strike 1. This has been a rough start. If you weren't here pregame, I was talking about how this game kind of matters to me. And it should matter to the Jays, and it should matter to all Jays fans. The last time the Dodgers were here, they were celebrating a championship on this field. I wanted some little slither of revenge here today. And the way things are shaping up right now, it's dark times. A lot of game left. Oh, my goodness. This ball is hit into left field. Okamoto can't get this ball. It goes right through his wickets. It was really hard hit. They're showing the replay right now. Nope. You gotta get that one, Okamoto. You gotta end the inning and make that play. I understand Pages hit that ball hard. You're a major league third baseman. That's a double. Runners on third and second now. Alex Freeland is now at the plate, only hitting 150 so far this season. Get this batter, Fleming. You got to. Pick up your teammate there. That is a ball. 1-1 is the count. I do wonder if Okamoto also has the flu. Maybe if he doesn't have the flu, he's able to field that ground ball. Like, it's so, you don't know with these Blue Jays. Because Eric Lauer, we knew he was sick. And he could barely get through the game. And he pitched terribly. And now Max Scherzer was sick in this game. And he couldn't get through 2 innings. And now Okamoto misses a ground ball he should have. And maybe he missed it because he's sick. It's tough sledding here in this top of the third inning. 2-2 now the count as Freeland swings through that pitch there. 2-2 pitch. Fleming's going to throw this one, and that is fouled off by Freeland. Flukamoto. Shout out Koki for Flukamoto. That's good. How many more names can we do? Who else can get a flu pun with their name? Flatty doesn't work. Flutie, no, that doesn't work. Florero, Vladdy Florero. Here's a ground ball by Freeland to Andres Jimenez at short. He throws a one-hopper to Vladdy. Vladdy does the splits to catch the one-hopper. And the umpire, waiting to make the call, calls him out. Oh, my goodness, Vladdy. What a play by Vladdy there to end the inning. Well done. Brendan Flutel. Brendan Flutel's good. I like that. I like Brendan Flutel. We have SLS 98 with the super chat. Super chats get confetti. Here you go. A little super chat confetti. The super chat confetti says, Jesse, to distract you from the game. Yes, thank you. What are your thoughts on a possible lockout/salary cap for next season? Not a fan of it, but feels inevitable. The negotiations between Major League Baseball and the Players Association and the negotiation between the Major League Baseball Players Association and Major League Baseball are going to be contentious because Major League Baseball, the players, have one of the best unions around. They fight for their guys, and they know how to negotiate, and they know how to hold firm on what they want. And they do not want a salary cap. I think eventually they will win, and they will not have a salary cap, but it is not going to be pretty. For all of you new baseball fans out there, and there are so many across the world, baseball is booming right now in popularity. It could be a real detriment to the sport of baseball next spring when they're not playing. I honestly think we are going to have some sort of work stoppage, whether it's they miss spring training and they need to push back the start of the regular season, or it's we actually got to sacrifice some games next year. It's going to be a real tough battle between the MLB and the MLBPA. And I think everybody knows it. And that's why you're asking that question. It's because people know it's coming. And it's a scary thing because everybody hates strikes/lockouts. It is not fun for anybody involved. and I think we are on the precipice of getting one with baseball. 2-1 is the count. Davis Schneider's at bat against Justin Robleski, who's pitched 41 pitches so far in this game. Davis Schneider now fouls off that ball. The count is 2-2. Ernie Flumet, says Taylor. Andres Flumenez. Andres Flumenez, I think, is the clubhouse leader. Andres Flumenez is leading right now amongst names. Davis Schneider strikes out. That's Robleski's first strikeout of the game. First out of the bottom of the third inning. What else we got? Guerrero Flunier, says Natalie Drake. Vladimir Guerrero Flunier is pretty good. He's at bat right now. Guerrero Flunier. But I don't know. I think Flumenez is still ahead of Flunier. Flument is good. Ernie Flument is pretty good too. Flarger? No, Flarger doesn't work. Addison Flarger. George Flinger? No, Flunger? George Flunger. George Flunger doesn't work. Brendan Flittle. Brendan Flittle is funny. I love that one. 3-0's the count here. Vladdy, let's see if he'll swing away. Nope, takes that pitch. 3-1 is the count. Oops. 3-1 is the count. And now he takes ball 4. There it is, runner on first. Fludimir Guerrero Jr., no. Addison Barfger. Natalie Drake is submitting Addison Barfger. Oh, Jacqueline K with the most obvious one of all. Toronto Blue Jays. How did we not think of that? Jacqueline K, well done. Okamoto's at bat now. And Okamoto, one pitch into the at bat, grounds into a double play. Oh my goodness. That is the end of the inning. Whew. The easiest one of all was the Toronto Blue Jays, and we didn't think of it until Jacqueline K said it. Well done. I think that one wins. That is a tough Okamoto game, says Koki. Yeah. If we could spend a little time on that, Okamoto has not been hitting well this season. Coming over from Japan, there's clearly been an adjustment period for him. Strikeout numbers way too high. Fielding terrible in this game so far, at least. Should have had that ground ball. How much of the flu do we give somebody the excuse? Like, you are out there. If you are out there, I expect you to play baseball. And if you're out there playing baseball, I expect you to play baseball well. And you're not playing it well right now. Not great from Okamoto today. Jays trail 4-1. SLS says, only week 2 of the season, but getting 2024 vibes from this team. I'm not going that far. I'm going as far as the first sentence of your comment. It is only week 2 of the season. We cannot make judgments on the feelings of the whole season. Obviously, this isn't a great start to the year. 4-5 against the Athletics, the White Sox, and the Rockies is unacceptable. Can't do that. But that does not mean that the season feels like it's going to be a disaster. that does not mean the season is done or it's lost or that it's going to be lost. Oh my gosh. As I'm trying to talk myself into something good here, Fleming hits rushing. Dalton rushing is going to first base. Haesung Kim is looking to bunt and fouls that off. No hits on the year for Kim. Hasn't gotten into many games. Is in this game because of the Mookie Betts injury. That is strike number 1 as that bunt was fouled off. Haesung Kim rounds to bunt again and takes a ball low. 1-1 is the count. Noodle says the season definitely feels like it's lost. You can't lose a season on game 10. That ball is high as Kim turns to bunt again. And it's 2-1 is the count. I think you just throw a strike here and let Kim try and bunt it. Fleming can't risk losing this batter with a walk. Oh, there's a bunt foul again. Okay, we've worked the count to 2-2 now. Kim's going to have to get this bat off his shoulders and swing away. You're going to have to swing here. Fleming 2-2 pitch. Kim is going to pop this one up to right, out to right field, into the crowd. Foul. We reset at 2-2. Half of the Blue Jays roster is injured right now, and the other half is sick. That is the reality of the Toronto Blue Jays in the third week of the season. That is a ball outside. 3-2 is the count now. You can't walk the number 9 hitter. I am so serious right now. Fleming cannot throw a ball here. Throw it down the middle of the plate. Oh my goodness! Fleming! That was the worst hit. That was the worst pitching I've seen all this year outside of Brendan Little. It's the number 9 hitter at the plate who is begging to not swing the bat. All he wanted to do was lay down a bunt. And all you needed to do was throw it over the plate. And Kim, who does not have a hit on the season because he just got called up because Mookie Betts is injured, is begging to get out with a ball in play. And next up is Shohei Ohtani, who hits one out to center field. And thank goodness it stays in the park. Wow, Shohei almost got all of that. Varsho gets under it, and both runners tag up. Varsho with a weak arm. Both runners tag up, and now runners are at second and third after a horrible pitching performance to Kim from Fleming. Shohei gets out on that pop fly. Kyle Tucker's up next. That's a strike to Tucker. 0-1 is the count. My goodness. Otani got all of that. I was just reading Hayden Wright. Otani tagged that. Holy smokes. Yes, he did. And Kyle Tucker tags this one all the way out to right center. It's going to stay in the ballpark. Varsho gets under it, but that means Rushing is going to tag from third to home. And the Dodgers are going to put up another run on the board. 5-1 LA on the sacrifice fly by Kyle Tucker. 2 outs in the inning. Freddie Freeman at the plate. Kim on third. A ball 1 to start the at-bat. We are in rough times here, people. We are in struggle bus territory, as that is a foul ball by Freeman. 1-1 is the count. Knox says, who gets fired first, Craig Berube or John Schneider? Well, John Schneider just got a long extension this offseason. So I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. Craig Berube should have been fired in December. I hope it's Craig Berube. I am praying to whoever wants to listen that it's Craig Berube. Let's be honest here. Freddie Freeman takes this 2-1 pitch, and he fouls it off. 2-2 is now the count. 2 out. Dodgers lead 5-1. Runner is on third base. Fleming now up to 50 pitches. What John Schneider is doing right now is managing his bullpen. This is going to be a long series. This is going to be a long season. You have to squeeze as many innings and as many pitches out of Fleming as you can, despite the Jays dropping further and further back in this game as he remains on the mound. With Scherzer going out after 2 innings because he has the flu, you got to keep Fleming in there. But Fleming here walks Freddie Freeman. This is never ending. Wow. Alex says, I'm not as big a fan of the Jays as a Leafs fan yet. What happened to the Jays this year? Okay. It is a long season. Yes. It is 162 games. We are 10 games in. I can't give you an assumption of what's happened to the Jays this season. I can tell you how the first 2 weeks have gone. They swept the Athletics to start the year. Awesome. They should sweep the Athletics. Then there was a series against the Rockies and then a series against the White Sox. They got swept by the White Sox. They lost all 3 games. The White Sox lost over 100 games last year. They should not get swept by the White Sox. They lost 2 games out of a 3-game set against the Rockies, who lost over 100 games last year. That should not happen. But what has happened with the Jays is that, 1, they have the flu. They are the Toronto Flu Jays, as Jacqueline pointed out. And we don't know how big a percentage of the roster is being affected by the flu that is running through the clubhouse. But it is clearly a significant amount. Eric Lauer was supposed to have a start earlier in the series against the White Sox. He got his start pushed back to Sunday. That Sunday start by Lauer was a disaster because he had the flu. Max Scherzer today is only able to go 2 innings. Velocity is terrible. Gives up a home run. Looks terrible on the mound. He has the flu. What can you do about that? That's bad luck. Alejandro Kirk gets his thumb hit by a baseball. It's a fractured thumb. He's going to have surgery. He's probably going to miss 4 to 6 weeks with that. That is our number 1 catcher. That's our switch hitting catcher who is a gold glover behind the plate. We need him. He's out because of luck. Half of the starting pitching is gone because of injuries that are out of our control. Everybody in the starting rotation, we've had too many starting pitchers. We've had 9 starting pitchers. Cody Ponce goes out because he's fielding a ball in between the mound and first base. He runs over. He hits his leg on the ground, blows out his ACL. He's gone. Everybody's in. Trey Savage hasn't pitched since last postseason because he's not stretched out, because he's never pitched that many innings before. We don't have him. It is a disaster with injuries. That's an excuse, but it's true. A lot of bad luck. Teoscar Hernandez strikes out. That's the 3rd out of the inning. Okay? Quick summary of what's going on. Quick summary of why this thing is despair right now. But let's not say the Blue Jays are terrible. They're playing terrible because of all those reasons. But that does not mean they are terrible. I hope we are on the same page. Oh, sorry. Sorry, when I say switch hitting catcher, Tyler Heineman's the switch hitter, and we called up our other switch hitting catcher. So now we have 2 switch hitting catchers. Sorry. That's what Tyler Heineman's our switch hitting catcher. I went too far with the Kirk stuff. We have our switch hitting catcher in Heineman, and we called up our other one. But we need our on-base king, Kirk? Can I call him that? Is on-base king Kirk okay? Can I call him that? His bat is fantastic when it's on. Kirky's an important bat when he's hitting. We need him. We need his defense more than anything. His runs saved behind the plate are as good as any catcher in this game. Thank you for the correction on the switch hitting. I got too into my rant. I got too into ranting. Okay, Mary Waltz, great point. Robleski is the worst pitcher the Jays will face in this series. Facts. Like that's facts. There are no easy pitchers with the Dodgers. Robleski is a very good pitcher, and he's probably the worst one they will face. Ernie Clement is now at the plate to face Robleski, who's pitched 51 pitches in this game. 0-1's the count as he fouls that one off. Chat, how are you feeling about the Jays season? Obviously, it is not off to a good start, but are you confident that eventually the luck will turn around? That the season will turn around? Ernie Clement here, taking one way out to right center, but on De Pajes is going to get under that, and that's the 1st out of the inning. Hey, I haven't asked you to do this one time this whole stream. Can you hit like for me on this stream? Is that too big of an ask? The little thumbs up button, click it for me. I appreciate your presence here. If you could hit like on the stream, that would really help the channel, really help the video, really help the live stream. I appreciate it. Thank you. That is a strike down the middle. Robleski to Varsho. Thank you to everybody who's hit like. If you really want to support the channel, hit subscribe. Hit subscribe on the channel. But a like is, it's free. It costs you nothing. And it does a big lift and a big help for us. 0-2's the count. Oh, that 0-2 pitch looked like it caught some of the zone. The Dodgers don't ABS challenge it, and it's 1-2 now is the count. Bottom of the fourth inning, 5-1 is the score. Dodgers lead by 4. Varsho is going to fly this one out to shortstop where Max Muncy runs over and catches that ball. That's 2 outs in this inning. Alex, 9269 gifts 5 SDP VIP memberships. Thank you, Alex. This confetti is for you for gifting those memberships. If you received a gifted membership, say thank you to Alex, please. You must thank the giftee in the chat if you are a recipient of a gifted membership. You must say thank you. Those are the rules. Miles Straw is now at the plate and fouls off that first one. 0-1 is the count here. That is a strike by Robleski. That's an 0-2 count now. 2 out. Jays need to get something going. Foul ball. 96-mile-an-hour fastball. High out of the zone that Straw is able to foul off. Pretzel Hunt says, if you have plural confetti, it's called confetta, and it's cheese. I'm giving you a womp on that one. Miles Straw, dribbler out in front. That is fielded by Robleski, but thrown away. Miles Straw is going to reach base here after Robleski. Oh my gosh, no! Miles Straw does not make contact with that. Rushing doesn't squeeze the pitch. And then the pitch hits Straw. Oh, so much just happened there. So on a swinging third strike, Rushing behind the plate, Dalton Rushing, isn't able to squeeze the ball. It flies out of his glove, out in front of the mound. Robleski goes to field it, throws it over the first. It hits Straw, and he reaches first base. Tyler Heineman is now at the plate. Heineman is going to hit the ball on the ground to second base and be thrown out, and the inning is over. Nothing comes of the Miles Straw play. And we do have gifted memberships, though, to make us happy after that tough inning. We have 10 gifted memberships by Enoch 4231. Here is your confetta, which is cheese. And here is your air horns and your round of applause. We have had a game so far. This has certainly been a game. And the Blue Jays have not looked in it. At no moment have the Blue Jays looked dangerous in this game. From the very start of this thing, it has been an uphill battle, with Scherzer allowing 2 runs in the top of the first inning. And then, in the bottom of the first, when they have the bases loaded and a chance to drive in a couple, they can't do it because the hitting has not been there with runners in scoring position so far this season. They are in the bottom 5 in the league in batting average with runners in scoring position. They have not been able to hit it. So they're only able to muster 1 run in that bottom of the first. And since then, they don't have anything. 2 hits only on the evening for the Jays and just that 1 run in the first. We go to the top of the 5th inning. Is Josh Fleming going to remain in the game as we come back from commercial break? Yes, he is. This is John Schneider and Pete Walker just eating innings. There's no reason to go to your high leverage relievers here in a 5-1 game against the Dodgers on April 6th. You can pitch Fleming all you need. And that is what they are going to do here. Let's see if he can get through this 5th inning unscathed. 1-0 is the count as he throws a ball to start the at-bat to Max Muncy. And then there is a strike, and we are back up to 1-1. That ball is hit hard by Muncy, and the Jays are going to bungle this one as well. That was a ground ball to Ernie Clement at second. Vladdy couldn't make that play. Clement couldn't make that play. Sorry, I called it a ground ball to Clement, but it was a ground ball to Vladdy that bounces off of his knee. He can't make the play, but Clement is there to back him up, and he picks it up, and he tries to throw it to Josh Fleming, who's covering first base. Fleming can't hold on to the ball, and Max Muncy reaches first base on what they're ruling a single. Andy Pages comes up next. First pitch of the at-bat, Pages grounds it past a diving Andres Jimenez. That ball is into center field. We have Max Muncy, who was on the move, on his horse, galloping around second, goes first to third on that ground ball single to left center. And now it is quickly runners on first and runners on third with none out in the top of the 5th inning with Freeland coming to the plate. Wow. Oh, boy. Oh, my goodness. Alex Freeland looks to bunt, and he bunts that one foul. Hayden, who's running the SDPN count in the chat, says, the hype for this game feels silly now. Oh, that ball looked like it caught some of the zone, but they choose not to ABS challenge that pitch, and it is 1-1 in the count now. Thank you, Alex, for the compliment. I appreciate you. That ball is low. 2-1. You know what we have to do at some point? I have 2 NHL Star Sticks from McDonald's that are unopened. These are unopened NHL Star Sticks. We have to open them and see what we get. Freeland is going to ground this ball up the middle. Clement is able to make a play. Touches second base. Throws it over to first. That's a double play. But the Dodgers do get a run on that double play. So Alex Freeland grounds into a double play. Max Muncy scores. Andy Pages out at second. Let's clear the bases. Give a run to the Dodgers. 6-1 is the score. Dalton rushing at the plate now to face Josh Fleming, who's up to 66 pitches, just trying to eat innings for this bullpen so that the bullpen is not all tired for the rest of the series. That's strike number 1. That's fouled off again. 0-2 is the count. Natalie Drake. Something I've been wondering. How much impact does a catcher have on the score? Like, what do they do? How much is missing Kirk behind the plate impacting them? A catcher like Alejandro Kirk, that is a ball outside. I'm trying to answer this as succinctly as possible for you so I don't go on a 20-minute rant about the importance of catchers. A catcher like an Alejandro Kirk is very important to a team because the majority of the time he knows his pitchers very well and he is calling the game for the pitcher. So he's deciding what pitches are thrown at what moments. He's sitting there pushing the little buttons on his shin there where he calls the pitches. That's going to be a base hit up the middle by Dalton Rushing. He singles on that pitch there. 2-out single by Rushing. And now Kim is now to the plate, the number 9 hitter. The pitcher-catcher relationship is huge to a baseball team. And Kirk, being here so long, being a vet, they're missing him in ways that don't come across directly in the score sheet in any way that's quantifiable. It's a huge loss to the Jays. 1-1's the count here. Kim fouls this one off. 2-1's the count. Or 1-2's the count, sorry. We have John Gibson, 8636, with a super chat that we will read right after this 1-2 pitch to Kim. Fouled off again. I have the Jays winning 83-87 games. Wouldn't it be surprised to see them win 78? Having your soul ripped out takes its toll. The good news is if they make the postseason, the AL is still wide open. First of all, thank you for the super chat. I really appreciate it. I'm going to give you a little confetti for your super chat. That pitch is fouled off again by Kim. 1-2, the count remains. I could see the Jays being a wild card team. I could see them losing the division to, let's say, the Yankees, most likely. I could see them getting in as a wild card team and then making hay in the playoffs. That's where I have them. I've slightly above you. I guess that 83-87 game, 87 probably doesn't get you into the wild card. Does 87 get you in the wild card? Like low 90s, 100% does. So I have them slightly above where you have them, but I don't have them winning 100 games or anything crazy like that, you know? I think that 87 mark would probably be a wild card-ish team, so I think they'd be right in around there. But I was hoping this year wouldn't be another slow start. They are very prone to slow starts. They've done it like every, last 3 seasons in a row? 24 is a disaster totally, but last year, May 28th, I said in my video yesterday, May 28th, they were under 500. Miles Straw is going to get under this fly ball to right field by Kim, and he is going to catch it for the 3rd out of the inning, and we go to the bottom. Oh, sorry, the outs weren't correct there. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Let's have some fun here. Let's boost the mood. I have 2 NHL Star Sticks remaining unopened. I have 3 here that we opened last stream, and they are all McDavid's. All I am hoping for is that we don't have another McDavid in these 2 packs. Because McDonald's printed too many McDavid sticks, and now every time you open up one of these, it is a McDavid. So I'm trying to open it very gently because the boxes are very fragile. They get little breaks in them very easily. And I want to preserve this just in case it's like a Celebrini. Okay. NHL Star Stick opening. Let's see what we get. Oh, let's do the zoom. Let's do the zoom. We can do more things in this studio. We're gonna zoom. Oh. Oh, okay. This is probably good. There we go. Okay, NHL Star Sticks. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go this way. There we go. Opening. Do I have a drum roll button? No, I only have tense music button. I don't have a drum roll button for you, Hayden. I'm sorry. I'll work on that. I'll work on a drum roll button. Here we go. Take your guesses. The options are you can get a McDavid, a Matthews, McCarr, Hughes, Reinhart, Montembeault, Celebrini. You can get one of those 7 guys. Let me know what you let me know what you think this is. Okay, here we go. I swear if it's McDavid. I don't want to break it. I don't want to break it. Oh, here we go. It's Connor! Dang it! It's another Connor McDavid Star Stick. Womp, womp. All right, Andres Jimenez is at the plate. We got another stupid Connor. Andres Jimenez is going to not beat out this ball. He grounds out here to Robleski, who's very close play at first base. Sliding headfirst into first is Andres Jimenez as Robleski fields that little chopper out in front of him and beats Jimenez to the bag. 1 out in the bottom of the 5th inning. George Springer comes to the plate. Hey, shout out Robert Malloy, who was hanging out. Hello, Robert Malloy. Thank you for tuning in to see me get a 4th McDavid. They are all McDavids. They are literally all McDavids. I'm not lying. This is McDavid. This is McDavid. This one, if I could ever open it, is McDavid. That was our 4th McDavid. George Springer's at the plate. He's going to fly out to right field. Wow, this is a depressing Blue Jays game. We have 1 left. I'm saving it. We have 1 left. They don't sell them anymore. The promotion has ended. So I'm going to save it for tomorrow's stream. I'm back, by the way, tomorrow, 7 o'clock Eastern, first pitch, streaming another Dodgers-Blue Jays game that I hope goes better than this one. I'm going to save that Star Stick for tomorrow's game to see if we get another Connor McDavid. That is a ball 1 to Davis Schneider. That is a ball 2 to Davis Schneider. Good patience here by Schneider. 2 out in this inning already. Jimenez grounded out and Springer flew out. If you ever want to know when we are streaming, we now have our stream schedule posted. I don't know if you know this, you listening out there or watching, but Hayden, can you drop in the chat sdpn.ca/schedule, I think is the URL. Davis Schneider is going to take this pitch, the 4th pitch of the at-bat, for a ball, and he is going to get a walk to first base. Inside JC says, GM Jesse, fix the Jays, please. I can't first of all, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. I can't fix bad luck. And a lot of the Jays' issues right now is bad luck. I went through it. A lot of guys have the flu right now. A lot of guys are injured. Those are 2 things out of your control. Though that is God saying, We don't want the Jays to win. I can't fix that. I think they have a good roster. Depth is very important. They clearly don't have enough depth to overcome the sicknesses and the injuries right now. But nobody could have this much depth. Oh, thank you for the shout out on the schedule page, Nicole. Yeah, thank you, Hayden. Appreciate you dropping that in the chat. If you hit that link there, you will see when all of our upcoming streams are. I'm streaming tomorrow for the Dodgers Blue Jays game 2 of this series. Adam is streaming on Wednesday. Steve is streaming on Saturday. Those are the upcoming SDPN streams. Enjoy. Tune in. Hit like on this stream while you are here. Vladdy chops this one to second base. He is hustling down the line to try and beat it, but he cannot. That is a ground out by Vladdy, as that is a nice play by Alex Freeland, throwing that over to Freddie Freeman. A lot of F's in there to make the third out of the inning, and the Blue Jays are retired in the bottom of the 5th inning. We go to the 6th inning. Do you think Stuffy Steve can bring us any luck? Can Stuffy Steve bring us any luck today? This is, yes, Steve Dangle the toy. And R.I.P. Iggy. Iggy there, Victory Puppy. Victory Puppy made the toy there. If you can see, there's a little SDPN. Can you see the little SDPN bandana? Isn't that cute? If I can focus this. There it is. Isn't that cute, that little SDPN bandana? That's adorable stuff. That's just so adorable. Okay. Enough of Stuffy Steve. You know what? Good point by the chat. Steve hasn't been able to bring the Leafs any luck, and maybe we don't want him involved. Maybe we don't want Steve involved in anything at all. Alex says, has Stuffy Steve brought the Leafs luck? No. Never in his life has he brought the Leafs luck. So maybe we ask Steve to stay away from the Blue Jays. Maybe that's why the Blue Jays are struggling, because Stuffy Steve has been around, and that is causing the Jays to be bad. Who knows? That could be the thing. Oh, we have a super chat here from Inside JC. Thank you. Inside JC. Inside JC writes, fair to say 27 needs to be better. I love him and think he can handle the high expectations. Is it too early to say anybody needs to be better? Like, well, I guess it's not early when you are the superstar that you are in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I guess it's never too early to say, like, hey, we expect a lot from you. He is our billion-dollar player, $500 million player, to be more exact. I don't think he's off to a bad start at the plate at all. Like, I think he hasn't been playoff Vladdy, but he's been good. Like, I'm glad he got that home run against the White Sox. I think he had a couple really good swings in that game. The one before the home run where he hit the ball to the warning track was nice. Shohei Ohtani is hitting this one way out of the park to center field. That is not staying in Rogers Center. 415 feet dead center. Shohei makes it 7-1. Shohei likes that pitch there. It's unconventional. You don't expect a hitter to be able to generate that much power from pitches that low in the zone, but when you're throwing it there to Shohei, he can hit it out of the park. And that's what he did there. 7-1. This rematch has not lived up to the hype. Woo! Two strikes here on Kyle Tucker. That's a ball inside. Alex says, some really cool podcast once said, it's getting late real early. I believe some stupid podcast said that. Here's a foul ball there. I'm willing to throw this game out. Chalk it up to flu Scherzer on the pitching side of things. You had to play Fleming. You had to put him on the mound for all these innings just to try and eat something up. I assume half of the pitching staff, half of the bullpen also have the flu. This is what you called up Fleming for, to eat innings. This is a lost game. But the bats, regardless of if the pitching staff was on their game today, the bats haven't been there since the Athletic series. That's something that I'm not willing to just poo-poo and say that's okay. Hitting has been a problem this season for the Blue Jays, and it continues here in this game as they've only been able to muster up one run. And Freddie Freeman's going to walk here. That is a walk. Run on first base. Sorry, I said Freddie Freeman's going to walk. Kyle Tucker is going to walk. Freddie Freeman is coming to the plate. Fouls that one off. Joshua says, tell Haley to keep studying even though the Jays are losing. Keep studying, Haley. Thank you for renewing your SDP VIP membership. Natalie Drake with the super chat. Thank you, Natalie Drake, who's been hanging out here for most of this evening. Proud because I did my whole big workout like the good, dedicated athlete I try to be, even though it's a flare-up pain day. Thanks for the moral support. I'm very happy you got your workout done. Well done. I know you're contemplating making the cat upset by getting up, but I'm glad you decided to get that exercise in. Exercise is very important. Keeps you healthy, keeps you strong, and you only build on days like these. That ball's fouled off. 1-2 is the count. It remains. Freddie Freeman at the plate. It's a long season. The Jays had a tough spring last year. Freddie Freeman fouls this one off. The Jays had a tough spring last year. They really did not get things going until June. I've already said this in this stream. I'm repeating myself now, but I really hope that this year was going to be the year that it was not a tough spring. This ball's hit deep by Freddie Freeman. Miles Straw running grab. Well done, Miles Straw. That's the first out of the inning. Great defense there by Straw. That ball was tattooed. Brad Kerr says, just wait till Canada Day. That's, thank you for the super chat, by the way. That's kind of the formula for this team. June, July rolls around, and all of a sudden they get hot. It's not ideal. I don't like it. I don't want it. That ball is outside. 2-0 count. Tommy Nance is up in the bullpen. Looks like he's going to get in the 7th. That ball's low. It's 3-0 count now. Taco says, why do they take so long to get going? Last year, I think you could really chalk it up to they had it. That's a 4-pitch walk. That's not great. Last year, I think you could really chalk up the Blue Jays' early season struggles to they hadn't figured out the lineup. They didn't know who their everyday guys were until halfway through that year last year. And then slowly, they really figured out the pitching, and then the hitting came, and then everything kind of clicked, and they knew the guys that they wanted to shuffle in there every single day. And eventually, they got kind of settled, and they had their roster. Max Muncy's now at the plate. That's a strike. 0-1 is the count. And in 24 was a disaster year. 24 was garbage. So there's no reason for that. 23, if I remember correctly, that was the slow start year again. And then they had a really hot back half, and then they blew it in the playoffs. They didn't win a single playoff game. They got swept that year. But historically, in this Atkins Shapiro tenure, they haven't had a start to finish good season yet. Last year was their best season, and it took an unbelievable June through September to have that great AL East winning season. So I was hoping that this season wasn't going to be that year, but 10 games in, it looks like it could be that year once again. That we're going to have to wait till May for them to get this roster going because of the injuries and because of the flu that's really taken over this team. This is a strikeout. Max Muncy strikes out. Mantiply coming out of the game here. Mantiply is going to be replaced by Tommy Nance, who was warming up in the pen. And with 2 out and 2 on in the top of the 6th inning, the Blue Jays are going to their 4th pitcher of the day. It was Scherzer, and then Fleming, and then Mantiply, and now it is Tommy Nance. Ooh, I have a super chat. Can't miss this one. Thank you. To Inside JC. Inside JC says they should give AB a run as an everyday guy. Addison needs to get his hitting together. I would love Addison to be an everyday guy. He needs a day off today because he hurt both of his ankles, which is a funny thing to say. But he hurt both of his ankles running to first base yesterday, so he needed today off. But he needs to be more consistent at the plate. I think he's got the stuff to be a good right fielder. I think he can stick in there every day. He's also been decent at third when he's needed to play third base. But his everyday hitting hasn't been there, and he needs to be consistent at the plate for me to trust him every day. I think he can be that guy, and I think he will be that guy. I'm a big Barger guy. I'm a believer in Bam Bam Barger time. But it's his job to get more consistent. That's where I'm at with Barger here. And he's struggled to start this season, but let's see where he's at when he's back healthy with his ankles. Pretzel Hunt says Jesse looks like he's a doorman. I haven't talked about this on live stream since we've been back doing these Jays ones, but I work that scoreboard live with this tablet. Is how it works. So if you see me holding this tablet and pressing buttons and everything, that's what I'm doing. I'm working that scoreboard. And then the microphone is just for ease, so I have my hands free. So I'm not standing here with this guy. I can stand here with this guy and do this, but it's easier with the headset. So that's why I got this. I call this my ideal setup. That's a slider outside. Tommy Nance starts his mound appearance today, replacing Joe Mantiply. With 2 straight balls, Nance throws 2-0 to Andy Pages. You got to come in the game and throw strikes, man. You got to come into the game. You got to come into the game and throw strikes. There's a strike. 2-1's the count. Seven one's the score. 2 out. Oh, my Sportsnet app is buffering. Oh, give me a second, people. Oh, why is my... Hold on. Sportsnet. The Sportsnet app is literally the worst thing in the world. Okay, here we go. Oh, in the middle of returning, Kyle Tucker is stealing third. Is he safe? Oh, they're challenging. Kyle Tucker tries to steal third base as my Sportsnet is buffering. 3-1 is the count. And the Blue Jays are challenging the safe call at third. So let's see what the call is. They are in video review. He looks safe. Oh, yeah, that's a bad challenge. He looks safe. What are we doing here, Schneider? Why do you want us to suffer through this even more? John Schneider wants you to feel pain for as long as possible. He wants to drag this thing out. Now we got to sit here through this useless review where Kyle Tucker is clearly safe. And we got to sit here and look at reviews and look at the score that says 7-1. Gosh darn it, John Schneider. Why must you make things worse? Why are you the way you are? Who gave you the right? The ruling on the field is confirmed. The umpire says it on the microphone. And that is a double steal by the Los Angeles Dodgers. There's now a runner on second and a runner on third base. There are 2 outs in this inning. The count is 3-1. Andy Pages hits this one real deep to right center. It is going to hit down on the warning track. Miles Straw barehands it off the wall. One bounce, throws it to the cutoff man, who gets it and throws it into the infield after 2 runs are put onto the board by the Dodgers as they extend their lead to 9-1. What an evening we have had together. Oh, baby. Did we choose a game to stream? That's a strike one. Oh, no. Not a strike one. Umpire calls that one a ball for some reason. Whew. Maybe it is Hayden's fault. Hayden, who does not often mod my streams, maybe it is his fault for being here. We have to blame someone. And maybe it's Hayden. Alex Freeland is ahead in the count. It's 2-1 as Tommy Nance has come in this game and made things worse somehow. 3-0 is now the count. Tommy Nance has come into this game and not thrown strikes. I hate when relief pitchers don't throw strikes. Tommy Nance is not doing that. 3-0 is the count. 2 out. There's a strike. 3-1. Hayden does not mod any streams. And now he's modding a stream and the Jays are losing by 8 runs. It is Hayden's fault. That's another strike. 3-2 is the count. Good for Nance working that back. So today, the pitching isn't going. The hitting isn't going. The fielding isn't going. Hey, Freeland goes around strike 3. There we go. End of the inning, bottom of the 6th. Here we go. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Have the Jays... Have the Jays not shown up today? We're going to do a little hockey card talk. Because who wants to talk about this game? Not me. Who wants to talk about the Jays sucking? Not Jesse, that's for sure. Let's examine this Phil Kessel card I have here. We're going to do a little Phil Kessel card chat. So we're going to zoom in on the Phil Kessel card. There it is. All right, so this is a Phil Kessel Lords of the NHL card. It has a jersey patch. I'll pull it right out of the case, actually. It has a real jersey patch. There you go. Sorry, it's hard to watch the screen. There you go. It says, the enclosed, look at this. The enclosed game-worn material is guaranteed by Panini America. This is a game-worn Phil Kessel jersey card. It's sitting on my desk. I don't know why. It was in the drawer in the desk, and I pulled it out, and I said, hey, I haven't seen this card in forever. A listener gave this one to me. And I threw it in my desk, and it's been there. And I thought, hey, since we have a 9-1 baseball game, I would much rather talk about this than anything else going on my television screen. It says on the back of the card, in his 4th season in Toronto, Kessel reached a big personal milestone when he recorded his 100th goal as a Maple Leaf on February 7th, 2013 against the Jets. With less than 5 minutes left in a 2-2 game, Kessel took a drop pass from Tyler Bozak and wristed it past Andre Pavelec for the winning score. This is from the 2012-13 Rookie Anthology Hockey Panini. There you go. Crown Royale. Lords of the NHL. Kessel Game Worn Patch card. Gifted to me by a listener many years ago. Put it back in its little thing here. Hayden asks, does it come with hot dogs? It does not come with hot dogs, but it comes with a Kazuma Okamoto single. Rally caps, people. The Jays have a runner aboard in the bottom of the 6th inning with none out. Robleski was removed from the game. We have Klein in the game now. Ernie Clement, Erndog, is now at the plate. Ernie's going to ground this one to second base. There's not a play at second. This is going to be a play by Alex Freeland to first base to retire Ernie Clement, but Okamoto is going to get into second safely. And now we have a runner on second with one out. And Dalton Varsho comes to the plate. Dalton Varsho, who has struggled to hit this season. This is what these games can be for. You got to be able to take some positives away here. So Dalton Varsho has not been hitting so far this season. In this wasted game, get your bat going here, Varsho. Drive in a run. You're hitting 167. You have a 465 OPS. Get a hit here. 1-1 is the count. Jacqueline K says, who would you rather have, Willie or Phil? William Nylander. It's not even close. He is one of my favorite Leafs of all time. Willie is. Here's a hard hit ball by Varsho out to center field, but it's not going to find grass. It is caught by Alex Call, who replaced Andy Pages in center field. Varsho is retired, but that is a very good swing. Okamoto is going to tag up from second to third, and with 2 out, the Blue Jays have a runner on third base with Miles Straw coming to the plate. The hot hitting Miles Straw, hitting .455, a .909 OPS to start this season. Takes the pitch in there for a strike to start his at-bat. 0-1 is the count. Klein throws the second pitch of the at-bat right down the heart of the plate. That's a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. And quickly, it is 0-2. Broadcast mentions Klein is 6'5". Huge human out on that mound there. There's a ball in there high. If you missed it early on, Max Scherzer could only go 2 innings. Clearly sick with the flu, or at least flu-like symptoms. Did not have his stuff early and had to be taken out of the game. Josh Fleming came in, was a disaster, got hit up and down. Mantiply came in, did not do much better. Nance came in, was even worse. The Jays bats had an opportunity in the bottom of the first inning with the bases loaded and 2 out. They were not able to get anything done there except for the one run they drove in earlier, and that's been the only opportunity for the bats there. We have an ABS challenge here on a ball outside. The Dodgers think it is a strike. They are challenging, and ABS says it's a ball. Confirmed ball by ABS. The count is 3-2. The full count pitch is thrown by Klein. That is a oh no! Great snag at second base there. Miles Straw with a hard hit ball to second baseman Alex Freeland, who snags it on the one hopper, turns, throws it to Friedman, and that is the third out of the inning. Miles Straw's retired. The Blue Jays strand Okamoto at third. They trail 9-1, heading to the top of the seventh inning. Murdoff, very good question here. Why don't they just get rid of the ump? That was an option. Hey, I did this thing in the playoffs, and we called it J School. Jays, like the Blue Jays, J School. J School as in journalism school. That's what they call journalism school. It's usually called J School at most universities. And then J School for Jesse, because I'm Jesse and I'm explaining something. Triple entendre is what we call J School. So this is a lesson from J School. Why doesn't Major League Baseball just strictly go to robot umps? They just call balls and strikes through ABS. The ump is there. He gets a little thing that dings in his ears, and it goes, oh, that's a strike. Oh, that's a ball. Fun fact, they tried this. That was an option when they were exploring the idea of ABS. And the overwhelming majority of baseball players in the minor leagues where they tested that exact system preferred the ABS system, the challenge system. Umpires preferred it, players preferred it, and Major League Baseball management preferred it. Everybody who is involved in the game said, this is the best thing. We still want the human element to the game. And an underrated part of the goings-on of baseball is the catcher catching the ball behind the plate. Because it may look like to the average viewer, he's just kind of catching the ball. But pitch framing is an art to baseball. The catcher is catching the ball deliberately in places to make the ball look like it arrived in different places. That is what pitch framing is. We are starting in the middle of J School, the top of the seventh inning. Dalton Rushing crushes a ball to right field. First pitch of the at-bat. Tommy Nance gives up a home run to Dalton Rushing. I was having so much fun not talking about the game and talking about the ABS system. But we have to stop all of that because Dalton Rushing hits this ball so darn far. 10-1 Dodgers. Ah! They're showing a replay of this ball. That's a no-doubter of no-doubters. Dalton Rushing shouldn't even be in there. Where's Will Smith? Oh, no. Kim's going to hit a little dribbler over to Ernie Clement, and Ernie can't make the play. That's a single as he beats that out. This is something. Oh. Ernie can't transition the ball from his glove to his hand, and he was not going to throw out Kim anyways. Speedy down the line. Speedy Gonzalez beating that thing out. Now Ohtani is at the plate. After a home run and then a infield single, the Blue Jays have to deal with Shohei Ohtani. Excellent. Excellent, everybody. That's what we like to see. We have a super chat from SLS98. SLS98 says, okay, forget this game again. Italian or Greek food? Whew. So this is something we gotta really nail down. Because Mediterranean food, I probably day to day, I'm going to side with Mediterranean. Hey, that's strike 3. Tommy Nance is able to strike out Shohei Ohtani looking. Get that bat off your shoulders, Ohtani. Day to day, I'm taking Greek food. I'm taking Greek food. Give me some rice and chicken shawarma and Greek salad, and I love Greek food. But peak food, like if I'm ranking them just like calories don't count, Italian food wins. Because honestly, nothing's beating pizza or pasta. There's so many good pasta options, nothing's beating that. Nothing is beating a good slice of pizza. This is a base hit by Kyle Tucker. 1 out. This ball is flared into right field. Tucker reaches base. Kim goes to second. That is a single. 2 men on, 1 out in the top of the 7th. Nothing is beating pizza and pasta. I'm counting things like bolognese, mac and cheese, any type of pasta you want gets categorized in the Italian food dish. And even though on an average day, a gyros is what I'm having for lunch, if I need food to just enjoy myself, give me a slice of pizza. And nothing in the Greek world of food is going to beat a fantastic slice of pizza. That's facts. That's facts. But you know what? You know what I'm going to tell you right now? Let me get it. You know what I'm going to tell you right now? I'm going to give you a little secret. Uh-oh. Freddie Freeman hits this out to right field. That ball's off the wall. Freddie Freeman does his little dance at second base as he drives in 1 run on the double. 11-1 Dodgers. Oh, baby. What do you even do? 1 out, second and third. Teoscar Hernandez at the plate. A double-digit lead for the Los Angeles Dodgers. Okay. You guys want a little secret here? Can you hear me when I'm talking this close to you? I got a little secret to tell you. The food that clears both Greek food and Italian food clears it. S tier of food. Mexican. Mexican food is the best food on earth. It's not a competition. They are the Los Angeles Dodgers of food. And funnily enough, you go down to LA, you get some great Mexican. I'm talking enchiladas. I'm talking burritos. I'm talking tacos. I'm talking burrito bowls. I'm talking huevos rancheros. I'm talking good guac and chips. That is a base hit by Teoscar Hernandez into right field. 2 runs are going to come around to score. That is 13-1 for the Los Angeles Dodgers over the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm talking chimichangas. Blue-white flame, because you super chatted and I really like you for doing that. You get a little air horns and you get some confetti. But Blue-White Flame says, Jesse, your food takes are why the Blue Jays are losing. You cannot disagree with me that Mexican food is the top tier food on planet Earth for humans. There's a man sleeping. That man is sleeping out in left field. As humans, all of us collectively together, Mexicans have made the best food in human history. There is not a collection of humans who have made better food than Mexicans. It's the best food of all time. Best food of all time. No competition. They can do everything. You have every great ingredient in Mexican food. And it's fresh, too. So much fresh stuff in Mexican food. Ah. Japanese food is really good. Japanese food is up there. There's so many great different Japanese dishes. 0-2's the count here. Tommy Nance against Max Muncy. He fouls this one off as the score is 13-1 for the Dodgers against the Blue Jays. What can you do in this evening? What can you really do? Thank you all, first of all, for hanging around this thing here. Whatever we're calling this, thank you. That's a strike 3. 2 outs here. Oh, super chat. 9 Goofy Goober. Shout out Goofy Goober. Thank you for the super chat. Goofy Goober writes, when the Jays players went to the Leafs game before the start of the season, that was curtain. It's the Leafs curse. You know, there's always going to be a way to blame the Leafs. There's always going to be a way that this is the Leafs' fault. 0-1's the count here. Tommy Nance. And Alex Call fouls this one off. 0-2's the count. Japanese food is really good. Does not beat Mexican food. Are we getting Tyler Heineman innings for the second time this season? That's embarrassing for the Blue Jays. We are 10 games into this year, and we're going to get 2 Tyler Heineman innings? What a disaster. Alex Call, that's foul, thank goodness. Almost down the line for extra bases for Call. Just foul. Chinese food is real good, but I feel like there's not as much variety. I feel like Mexican food, they peak better. Like, Chinese food has great average. Like, that's a consistent, but Mexican has both. The consistency and the top tier. You're not beating it. Chorizo? Are you kidding me? Chorizo? What's beating Chorizo? Nothing. Ernie Clement is chasing this one back to right center. He is going to backhand catch it. Very nice catch there by Ernie Clement. And that is the third out of the inning. Finally, we get to the bottom of the seventh. Time to seventh inning stretch, people. Woo! Stretch your legs with me. Seventh inning stretch, everybody. If you've been sitting down on the couch, it is time to get up and do a couple stretches, couple squats too. Do a couple squats with me. Yep. All right. 13-1. We have to get through this game somehow. Those of you who have been around the whole time, I don't know how you're doing it, hanging out with me, but I appreciate it. Hit like on this video if you've enjoyed your time here. That would really help the channel. I have not asked you to do that much. I think this is the second time I've asked you to do it all stream. Hit like and then hit subscribe. If you really want to support the stream, hit a little subscribe on the channel. Let me know your favorite cuisine, your top tier, S tier cuisine. That's what we're debating right now, because who needs this baseball game? I had such high hopes coming into this game. I wanted a piece of the Dodgers after what they did to us in Game 7. And Miguel Rojas' home run against Jeff Hoffman, and then Will Smith's home run in the bottom of the 11th inning. I wanted something, and I got nothing. I got worse than nothing. I got spit on. That's what happened. Anthony says, how was the Mexican food in San Jose when you visited? It was so stupidly good. We went to one taco place where they barely spoke English, and we knew as soon as we went in there, it was going to be awesome. And it was, and I've never had a taco like that in my entire life. Better than anything I've ever had in my entire life. Unbelievable. San Jose, underrated food city. Unbelievable food city. Loved it. Jacqueline K says, I want one more Jays run. It would be nice. 13-2, why not? I hope we see a little Tyler Heineman pitching. He's up to the plate right now. Fouls off a pitch there. That's an 0-2 count. Klein remains in the game. We have to slog through 2.5 innings here, and we will do it. Heineman's going to reach base here on a bouncer to third. Safe! It was closer than I thought. Oh, my goodness. Infield single there. Heineman is on first. Toronto, all the T's pronounced there. Toronto is elite, though, for food cities, says Yanaki. That's facts. Toronto is an elite food city because we are so multicultural. You can get everything here. Like anything from around the world, people from those places live here and own restaurants and make things. Kim is going back and makes an unbelievable catch on a Jimenez flare out to left field. Wow. Over the shoulder. Kim's in there for Mookie Betts, who's injured. What a catch. Snow cone. Catch by Kim to retire Jimenez. That's one out in the inning. Toronto might be the best food city in the world. New York's up there. I've been in New York a fair bit of times, and They're the same as Toronto. Like, it's on the same level except a bigger scale. So New York provides what Toronto provides. Like, you go to other places and you get the food of those places. You go to Toronto, you get the food of the world plus the food of Toronto. That's the difference with us. That's why we're one of the best food places in the world. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Anthony Bourdain loved eating in Toronto. I don't think he liked the city, but I know he liked the food here. I think it was because of those reasons. Jesus Sanchez is now up to bat. He is hitting in George Springer's spot. Oh, Spencer Miles is up in the bullpen. 2-1 is the count here against Jesus Sanchez. No, Pretzel Hunt says Vegas doesn't beat Toronto. It doesn't. On food scale, no way. Vegas is Vegas is so commercial. Like, when I was in Vegas in 22, I want to say 2022, it was like in the pandemic. It was 22 because we are still like wearing masks in a lot of places and everything. Oh, that's strike 3 on Sanchez. Oh, no. He's challenged it, but that one's in the zone. Vegas doesn't have like unique food spots. It's everything there is commercial. Like, I'm talking the Strip, not like outside of Vegas. Like when you go to outside the Strip there. Bourdain really liked Montreal. Montreal, good food city, but not as multicultural as Toronto. Montreal has good Montreal food. Like, you get the Montreal food. It's like any good food city you go to, you get the foods of that city, but Toronto, international food city. Davis Schneider here to the plate, 2 out now in the bottom of the 7th. 13-1, the Dodgers lead. Blue White Flame says, Jesse, eat off the Strip. If I ever go back, I will. I don't know if I'm going back anytime soon. Too many places to visit. I like to, when I travel with my better half, Gabby, we haven't been to a place twice yet. Whenever we vacation, it's always somewhere new. So I don't know if we're going to go back to Vegas anytime soon. Maybe on a work trip. Maybe the Golden Knights will want us to come out there. Maybe there'll be a draft and we get to go out there. SDPN as a crew. Maybe Hayden and I get to go out one day and watch the Las Vegas Raiders or the expansion NBA team or the Las Vegas Athletics or the Las Vegas Aces. That is strike 3. David Schneider swings through that one to retire the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 7th. We go to the top of the 8th inning. 2 innings to go in this 13-1 affair. 12-run comeback incoming, says Tyson Barnett. If you want to shout out your favorite eaten spot in the chat, maybe I'll look it up. Maybe I'll look it up and bring it up here on the screen. We have Murdoff saying BC has the best fried chicken, especially Lee's chicken. Let's look up Lee's chicken. Let me see Lee's chicken in BC. I've never heard of it. Lee's chicken. Lee'sChicken.ca. Lee's famous recipe chicken. Do they have this in other places, or is it just BC? All right. Looks pretty standard fried chicken. You know, like from these pictures, I'm not getting that this fried chicken is better than fried chicken I've had. It doesn't scream to me, this is an all-timer fried chicken. Boston. I was in Boston 2 summers ago. I had the best lobster I think I've ever had. I did try a lobster roll. Let me see if I can look this up. Boston lobster. Of course, if you're in Boston, you gotta. Oh, let me see. Boston results. Okay. Oh. Ooh. Okay. Look at this. Let's see. Look at this. Look at fucking. Look at this beautiful lobster roll. Oh, we need to focus. Look at that thing. Oh yeah. That is good stuff. So that was at a place there's like a main I don't remember the street. I'm trying to remember the street. I don't remember Boston streets that well. It was in the Seaport district by the I'm gonna give like everything around here. Row 34, I found it. I just looked up the location on the image. Row 34 in Boston. Best lobster roll in town. Varsho is going to get under this ball for the first out of the top of the 8th inning. 1 out in the top of the 8th inning. Spencer Miles is in the game. 13-1 is the score. He retires Alex Freeland. If you've ever been to row 34, you know what I'm talking about. In Boston, it's downtown. It's by the Seaport. Best lobster roll in town. Lobster. By the harbor? Lobster by the harbor. Dalton Rushing, who is 3 for 3 today. 2 singles, a hit by pitch, a solo home run, driven in 2 runs, hitting .625 on the year. In the game for Will Smith, who's usually behind the plate. 2022 draft pick, Dalton Rushing. Good young player for the Dodgers because everybody knows they need more of those. One's the count. Miles against Rushing. And Dalton Rushing is now 4 for 4 as he lines one on a rope over the right field wall. That one got out of this park in 0.2 seconds. 109-mile-an-hour exit velocity over 400 feet over the wall. Dalton Rushing makes this thing 14-1. Wow. What are we doing? What are we doing here, people? Oh, my goodness. Call it an evening. Mercy, please. There's a base hit by Kim. I don't have a white towel with me, but if I did, I would throw it. I would throw it at the screen. We're done here. End the game, please. Shohei Ohtani is now at the plate. Don't make it worse, Shohei, please. Please. He fouls that first one off. Next pitch is a strike. 0-2 is now the count against Shohei, and he calls timeout. Our employees are now asking for extra compensation. Hayden writes in the chat, I want compensation for having to watch this. Shohei strikes out. Let's go. Whew, Spencer Miles is able to get Shohei. Ooh, 2 out in this inning. SLS 98 writes, it's only the second week of the season, I know, but can't rely on more long winning streaks to get back into it again. Yep. I don't disagree with you. This can't be your formula. Your formula for this season can't be let's just suck, till May again, and then we'll be hot from June through September. That's not how you win a division in back-to-back years. You can do it once. I'm not sure you can do it twice. Spencer Miles starts 0-2 against Tucker here. 2 out in the top of the 8th. That is a foul ball. It's going to get into the season. A lot of fans remaining at the Rogers Center. It's a nice day at the ballpark. Who cares what the score is? Spending your time amongst the people, having a beer, hopefully. Hot dog, too. Tomorrow's Looney Dog Day at the Rogers Center. I believe it's Tuesday home game. Should be Looney Dog Day. Enjoy yourself. Who cares about the score? And that's what we're doing here, too. We're just out here enjoying ourselves, having a good time. Who cares what the score is? We are here for the good company. We are here for the good vibes. We're here to see how bad this thing can get. We're here to see if Kyle Tucker is going to launch one into the upper deck. Thankfully, this ball is grounded to Vladdy at first as he throws it over to Spencer Miles, who steps on the first base bag for the final out of this inning. We have to go now to the bottom of the 8th inning for more torture, because that is what this game is. SLS 98 says, tomorrow's Looney Dog Day. Hot dogs are only 77 cents for their 50th. Oh, yeah, it's the anniversary of the Jays' first game ever is tomorrow, and they are doing 77 cents hot dogs to celebrate Looney Dog Day. So Looney hot dogs are even cheaper tomorrow. If you want to go down to the Rogers Center and get cheap dinner, tomorrow would be the day to go. Anybody in the Toronto area? I will be here. If you do not make it down to Rogers Center, I will be here on this here YouTube channel, streaming this game, talking you through hopefully what is a bounce back performance and not something that is resembling this game. That is what we are crossing our fingers for. Or are the Sabres about to beat the Lightning? What's the score in that game? Maybe we turn that on. Can we watch Sabres Lightning? Okay, hold on. Give me a second to fire up Sabres Lightning. Maybe I can watch the end of that game. Sorry, I got to bend down to hit the keyboard. Let me see if I can run these two at the same time. I don't know if the Sportsnet Plus app is just gonna break because I'm trying to watch too many things at once. But we will try. And we will see what we can do. Maybe we can get a little dueling streams. 4-2 Sabres is the score. Oh, here we go. Any other hockey games going on right now? Oh, there's only 50 seconds left. Kucherov has the puck. Empty net chance for the Sabres. They just flip it back out to the other zone. They don't go for it. They go for a line change. The Lightning are heading back up the ice with the empty net. 28 seconds now remain. The Sabres just trying to slow play this thing along the boards. The Lightning come away with it, though. Shot on goal is blocked. 4-2's the score. 13 seconds left. Puck squeaks out in front. Lightning can't get onto it. Goes into the corner. Sabres are able to clear the puck out of the zone, and time is going to run out. The Buffalo Sabres at home late in the season in a must-win game if they want to win the Atlantic Division title. Come away with a 4-2 victory and now have 102 points on the season. Their most since 2006, 2007. What a year to be a Sabres fan. What a year for the Buffalo Sabres. I have closed the game. And that is I am done calling that one as Vladimir Guerrero Jr. strikes out in the bottom of the 8th inning. That's the first out of the inning. Woo! Kazuma Okamoto is at the plate, and he fouls off the first one, and it's a foul ball. Go Sabres go. I can't say this publicly, but I'd much rather the Sabres win than the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Tampa Bay Lightning have done enough winning for my lifetime. Like, how can you not be rooting for the Sabres right now? The Buffalo Sabres have had so much pain. They've gone through so much suffering. If you're a hockey fan and it's between the Sabres and the Lightning have had they've had their fun. They've had their fill of winning. This is Sabres season. It's their time. That is going to be a strikeout for Kazuma Okamoto. You got to be rooting for the Sabres this year on the impossible firing Kevin Adams run that they are on for all of those dark years. They deserve this. They have earned this. I'm rooting for them to do well. That's a strike. Ernie Clements at the plate now. Yeah, in terms of strict likability, that's exactly what we're talking about. Koki's got the right idea. Sabres clear the Lightning in terms of likability. Yeah, how could you not like Tage and Jack Quinn? Darlene's a pest. You don't have to like Darlene. But Owen Power, you could like Owen Power. UPL? UPL's got a great name. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. How is that not awesome to say? Ernie Clement is going to ground this ball to third base. Max Muncy is going to throw that over to first, and that is the third out of the inning. We are 1 inning away from salvation, from the end of this torture, I keep calling it. 1 more inning, 6 more outs to go. Ukko-Pekka, Ukko-Pekka, Ukko-Pekka. I can't stop the feel. I can't. I don't know the words to that song. Ukko-Pekka, Ukko-Pekka, Ukko-Pekka. I don't know how that song goes. I don't know how Can't Stop the Feeling goes. Well, let me try and play this. What if I just said, Ooga hooked on a feeling. All right. I'm playing Ooga. Ooga chaka, ooga chaka, ooga chaka, ooga chaka, ooga. Stop this feeling. Deep inside of me. I need to put up the lyrics. It's ooga chaka, ooga chaka, ooga chaka, ooga chaka. I can't stop this feeling deep inside of me. There we go. Let's go. Ooga chaka karaoke. Blue Suede and Bjorn Skiffs. Hooked on a feeling. I should bring up the lyrics, and we should do full Hooked on a Feeling sing along. Hooked on a Feeling karaoke while Tyler Heineman is on the mound for the Blue Jays. The second time this second time this season, Tyler Heineman is on the mound. Embarrassing for your Toronto Blue Jays. The count is 1-2, surprisingly. Okay. If Tyler Heineman records an ow, which he does, Dalton Varsho is able to get this one. All right. I need to get the lyrics to Hooked on a Feeling and the song up. And we're going to do Ooga Chaka karaoke. So lyrics, Hooked on a Feeling. Okay, let me play this from the start. Ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka. I didn't get in there at the right time. So on the fourth ooga chaka, the I can't stop this feeling comes in over the last ooga chaka. So we need to fix it. We need to fix it, everybody. All right, time up your ooga chakas. No, I gotta play it again. Tyler Heineman's now pitching to Teoscar Hernandez. All right, everybody, get ready. Ooga, ooga, ooga chaka. Ooga, ooga, ooga chaka. Ooga, ooga, ooga chaka. Ooga, ooga. I can't stop this feeling. Nailed it. Deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. Oh, no. In your arms so tight, you let me know everything's all right. Ooga chaka. Oh, and then it's, oh, no. All right, so we got to restart. So once we go, everything's all right, then we get that big, boom, boom, hooked on a feeling. I think that's how it goes. I'm high on believing. Okay, so we need to nail that part together. Tyler Heineman's going to have a 1-2-3 inning. There's no way. Tyler Heineman, with the best pitching performance of the night out of anybody to take the mound. Is that the first 3 up, 3 down of the whole night? Did it come from Tyler Heineman? There's no way. Also, Pretzel Hunt says this is the first time he's listening to the song. Maybe it's the first time I've ever tried to sing along with Ooga Chaka. Okay? Let's not get into the details. We're trying to do a sing-along, okay? Let's do it one more time. So that big part where it's, I don't know that when you hold me, I can't hit the notes. When you hold me in your arms so tight, you let me know everything's all right. Maybe I'll just go back to Ooga Chaka. Maybe I'll just do the background because I'm not good at that part. And then we got to all do hooked on a feeling because it's I'm hooked on a feeling. That's all I want to get to. Let me see if I can do it this time. Okay. Ooga, ooga, ooga chaka. Ooga, ooga, ooga chaka. Ooga, ooga, ooga chaka. Ooga, ooga. I can't stop this feeling. Nailed it again. Deep inside of me. Girl, you just don't realize what you do to me. When you hold me in your arms so tight, and you let me know. I don't know that. Everything's all right. I'm hooked on a feeling. I'm high on believing that you're in love with me. Oh, that was fun. That's a good time. I hope everybody was ooga chucking along with me. I wish everybody was hooked on that feeling. We have a double by the Blue Jays. That's a double. The rally has begun. Dalton Varsho has kicked off what could potentially be a 13-run Blue Jays inning. Miguel Rojas is on the mound, which feels like the Dodgers twisting a knife into our sides. Miguel Rojas is pitching for the Dodgers. I hope everybody is hooked on a feeling right now. The count is 3-0 as Miles Straw is at the plate. Canadian Girl 83 writes, for Jesse being in an awesome mood after this blowout of a game, never stop being you. Oh, I won't. I am hooked on a feeling. Rojas walks. Oh, bases aren't loaded. Let me get rid of that. Rojas walks Miles Straw. And now we have two batters on. A man on second, a man on first. And Miguel Rojas hits Tyler Heineman. Bases are loaded, people. Andres Jimenez is coming to the plate. You're telling me there's not a chance? You're telling me there's not a chance here? With Miguel Rojas on the mound, throwing 56-mile-an-hour ephus bombs down the middle. 14 runs. Here is Jimenez grounding out. Not a double play. They cannot turn to. The Blue Jays cash a run. That is an out on the board. That is a run in for the Jays. It is 14-2 with runners on third and second. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a Blue Jays run. $12 to go. 12 runs to go for the Jays. Bottom of the ninth here. Brandon Valenzuela is up to the plate. He was called up after Alejandro Kirk went down with that fractured thumb. And Brandon flies out. 2 out now. Pop up to the catcher. That is 2 out in the inning. We have Davis Schneider here. Up to the plate. 1 more out to go in this mess of an evening. Miguel Rojas throws an ephus. 44 miles per hour. To Davis Schneider. I'm hooked on a feeling. Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga. I can't stop this feeling. Nailed it. That's a strike. Count as 2-1. Davis Schneider, swing. Swing the bat. Please, Davis. That's 3-1 is now the count. We're going to get Vladdy with the bases loaded. Let's see what Davis can do here. He swings at this one. That one's foul down the third base line. Nice little snag there by the ball boy out in left field. Thank you all for hanging out here. Before you exit here tonight, hit like on this stream. If you haven't hit like already, I appreciate it. Davis Schneider smashes one into the second deck in left field, but that's foul. 3-2 the count is now after that foul ball. 2 out. The Blue Jays down to their final out of this ball game. Down 12 runs to the defending World Series champions. That ball is in play, hit to third base, thrown to first base. Davis Schneider is out at first. That is the ball game, people. That is the game. How do I set? Why did it go to the 10th inning? Oh, set final. There we go. There we go. Final score, 14-2. What? What a day. What an evening. This was not fun. This was a blast to hang out with you, is what I'm talking about. The Jays, though, seeing them start the season like this is not fun. This was crucial that they got off to a good start this year, and they have done the complete opposite. We have a super chat of Jacqueline K. Says, what about a Ooga Chaka collab with Steve's trumpets? I would love that. Round of applause, air horns for all of you. Thank you, Jacqueline K. Thank you to all of you who have hung out for this 14-2 disaster by the Blue Jays. It's early in this season, but early comes and goes very quick, and late comes very early. I wanted revenge today for that Game 7 loss, and I didn't get any of it. I got the complete opposite. I got a butt kicking by the Dodgers once again. But we will be back at it tomorrow. Same time, 7 o'clock Eastern, for Game 2 of the series, where hopefully the Blue Jays rebound and turn their season around. They have lost 5 games in a row. They are 4-6 on the year. And it's not looking pretty right now with all of the injuries and all of the illnesses that are going around this team. Thank you for being here. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be hanging out with me right now, and I really appreciate that. Thank you to Hayden. Little air horns for Hayden. Hopped in last minute to mod this chat. Stick taps to Hayden. Thank you for being here. I was reaching for a stick. All I got was a baseball bat. Stick taps to Hayden for hanging out. That is it for me right now. See you tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Good night from Toronto. Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga.